Welcome to the OK Nerd Podcast. My name is Oscar.
And I'm Keegan, and this is the podcast where two friends talk about anything and everything nerd.
Yeah, how's your evening going, Keegan?
It's going great because tonight we have a really special episode for everybody. This is going to be the first episode that we have live where you can see our faces, and we have a couple of friends with us tonight.
Yeah, we invited a couple of our friends over for just to talk about Star Wars and anything nerd stuff that comes up. We just like all this stuff. So, um, if you want to introduce yourself, starting with Matt, tell the people who you are.
Yo, what's up? I'm Matt Shavers. I know these guys from high school, and if you're interested in hearing some original music, my music is Matt Shavers and the Evil Ways, available on Apple Music and Spotify and all that shit. So appreciate it.
Yeah, my name is also Matt Shavers. I don't know any of these people. I was kidnapped. No, my name is Sean Ross. If you're looking for some film entertainment, look up Fuzzy No Fuzzy. Let me plug that real quick. And then, yeah, that's it.
Yeah. And we also have Sergio.
Sergio Ramirez. Hello. Sorry to cut you off there, Oscar. This is my first time ever doing a podcast, but I am trying to get into the habit of doing some really creative things. So I wanted to start by saying thanks for having me on the show. You can catch me at Dive Bars doing bad stand-up comedy in Austin, Texas. You can also buy a car from me at AutoNation Chevrolet West Austin. I'm happy to be here.
Awesome. Well, I'm glad that y'all guys agreed to do this because we were kind of like, man, we want to do something, but we didn't know how, or we didn't know how to go about it. And we're like, well, let's just hit up our friends and see if they want to be our guinea pigs. And y'all guys said, yeah. So
there you go.
Of course, brother.
Yeah. So, just like I said in the beginning, for our viewers and our listeners, we're all really into Star Wars. We've all been into Star Wars since we were young. So that's kind of like the one thing that we really connect well with. So, shoot, I'm excited. I mean, it's about to be December.
Yeah, let's get it going.
And the trailer of the trailer of Book of Boba Fett has been out. Like, what do y'all guys think about that?
I'm hype as fucking fuck. Mandalorian obviously is super dope.
Yeah.
But when Boba Fett came into the picture, like, you can ask Sean. Like, every time we rewatch Mandalorian, I'm like, dude, put on the Boba Fett episode. Yep. Like, when he gets the armor back, that is the hypest nerd shit to happen in years. So I'm super excited for the Book of Boba Fett to see what kind of kingpin he turns into on Tatooine.
Also, shout out to Robert Rodriguez, a fellow Texan, for directing that episode and making it so
nice.
Badass. Yeah.
Gosh, dude.
Yeah, man, that shit was hype. And I was never really a big Boba Fett fan. I'm gonna be real. I'm gonna catch flack for this. I always thought Boba Fett was overhyped as fuck. Sorry, too much bad language.
No, you're fine.
Dude,
we'll mark
fine.
it as explicit and everything, so you're good.
I always thought Boba Fett was just overhyped. I knew in the beginning he wasn't going to be this well-written character. He was just going to be somebody that dies right into episode 6. Perfectly fine. And then everyone just hopped on him. And I was like, I don't get it. I'm a believer now. I get it.
I'm right there with you because, like, when you watch the old movies, you're just like, why is everybody so hyped? But then when you look into the lore and everything, and then when you find out about his father and the history and everything like that, you're just like, holy shit, like, this guy's like a badass. Like,
yeah.
Well, the thing about the hype is, I've seen an interview. I mean, this was years ago, like on YouTube. Some YouTuber had just posted something about like interviews with George Lucas between the original trilogy. And I know that Boba Fett originally was supposed to be the main bad guy in episode 6 for a good chunk of the movie because it was supposed to take place in Jabba's palace. And then like the third act was going to be the whole Darth Vader and Luke and the Emperor. So I think, like Keegan said, with the lore, I mean, I jumped into it. I was like, yeah, I want Boba Fett, given justice. And it finally came.
And that's I'm so excited to see it. I feel like Boba Fett is just going to be a continuation of some of the best Star Wars that we've ever seen, and definitely the best Star Wars that we've seen in a lot of years. The Mandalorian started a chain reaction of just awesome Star Wars lore. There has never been a better time to be a Star Wars fan than right now. Boba Fett was a badass looking character from the very beginning. You know, he wasn't out as a character. So, Sean, I know exactly where you're coming from. But the fact that Star Wars is deep enough for us to give a damn about every single little character that has ever been in any episode, spin-off, TV show, whatever, is just so exciting because it's limitless. There's endless possibilities, and this is just getting things started for Star Wars.
So what did y'all think about when that episode where that I can't remember the sheriff's name, but when he walked in and you saw him in that armor, like, because when I saw that, I was like, holy crap. Like, at first I was like, is that Boba? Like, what the hell is he doing being a sheriff? And then he takes the helmet off and I was like, what is going on? They were teasing, but I want to know how everybody else felt in that moment.
Yeah, Cobb Vanth.
Yeah.
He looked way too skinny. Like the armor didn't fit him right. So as soon as I saw him, I was like, that.
You knew it wasn't him because of his body shape. Yeah.
I remember watching it and being like, that's not, are they, what? And then he took off the helmet. I was like, continuity issue, Boba Fett's not supposed to be white. No. I'm real fucked up. And no, he just says Cobb Vanth, sheriff, and I was like, oh, okay. Excused. We're gonna get Boba Fett later. Oh, fine. And at the time, still, I was like, Boba Fett's overhyped. Didn't care.
Well, what's cool is you got Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau who actually give a shit about Star Wars.
Yes.
Fucking Kathleen Kennedy.
Yeah.
You guys actually show us what the Boba Fett armor can do.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Which we hadn't seen before.
Yeah.
Except for the holiday special, but whatever.
I never saw the holiday special. I still haven't seen the holiday special.
But yeah, it was cool to finally see the live action. Oh, you got to look it up, man. You got to see it at least once.
I can't disagree.
Am I not a full fan because I've never seen it?
I've never seen the holiday special.
Okay.
You're a fan if you're a fan. Fuck anyone who says different.
Yeah, it's just it's like I don't know what to compare it to. It's bad. It's bad.
It is bad.
It's really fun. If you're gonna watch it. Just don't expect anything great.
Is it like a musical?
There's music. Yeah.
I think I've seen bits and pieces of it because I'm.
The Rise of Skywalker bad.
Oh
no,
it's a different kind of bad.
It's a different kind of bad. But dude, going back, Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau, they know the holiday special is bad, but they make references and there's Easter eggs to the holiday special in The Mandalorian, which is so cool because like only huge Star Wars buff nerds are going to be like, oh shit, that's from the holiday special. And it's super cool to have that.
Just the tip of the iceberg. Can we please talk about just so much of what Filoni Filoni specifically has contributed to Star Wars over the years? Him working with Jon Favreau is next level. All the way back to the Clone Wars. I watched that for the first time in 2021 because I had the time, and I loved every minute of it. It is just a better flushing out of the prequel trilogy and everything that was going on.
Yeah. Clone Wars is dope.
Yeah, I'm a big Star Wars purist. Like for me, nothing is going to be better than original trilogy.
Yes, I agree.
Perfection. Even with its imperfections, it's still perfect. But they'll come out with something new and I'll hate it until something worse comes out. And then I'm like, you know what? Like the prequels. Like I did not like the prequels except episode 3 until the sequels. And then I was like, you know what? The prequels weren't that bad because they could have been the sequels. Didn't like Clone Wars when I first saw it. And then Rebels came out and I was like, you know what? Clone Wars isn't that bad. Rebels out. More sequel stuff. And then I was like, you know what? Rebels isn't that bad. All right. And it's just that it's been consistent for me like that forever.
I just started watching Rebels just barely this week.
It's good. I was an initial hater, but it's good.
Nah, I'm still a hater. I hate Rebels except for like moments. There are moments in Rebels that are really dope, but overall, it's too kiddish for me to get into it.
I've spent a lot of time on YouTube watching the highlights of the series. As I'm getting into it, it is very childish. The animation style is not like A1.
Yeah.
Like
It's whack, yeah.
But I try to visualize it from the standpoint of, okay, this is Star Wars, and there is stuff going on that is affecting everything.
And there's great lore in the show. It may not be executed very well, but some of the lore that they, like Inquisitors, we wouldn't have Inquisitors.
We wouldn't have Fallen Order.
We wouldn't have Fallen Order. We wouldn't have.
That's true.
And all that came from Rebels. And Rebels, I personally love Rebels. I know it's not everyone's favorite, but it grew on me, and I watch it at least once every year. It's great. I love it.
You know, it was funny how Sean brought up like the prequels and everything. I just recently rewatched the first 3 episodes, and I agree. Episode 3 out of those is probably the best, just because, you know, the lead up, you know, Anakin fighting Obi-Wan, and then the creation of Darth Vader. But dude, episode 2 cringes me out just because of how rapey Anakin is with Padme. Like the best moment to describe that
with him, she is 10 years older than
but my favorite thing is when he's like feeling her arm and stuff, and he's like, oh, you're so soft, and oh, you know, coarse like sand, and I'm just like, sit there
masturbating, just so you know.
No, I'm with Gabe. I mean, Padme was the one that kind of egged it on in episode 1. You know, she is like, "Ooh, I like this little boy.
You're just a cute little boy. Come on." But no, his like the wording and stuff, like the sand thing. I was like, what is he trying to do? Like, imagine doing that as a pickup line to somebody and being like, hey,
but here's the thing. Imagine
your skin's so smooth.
Imagine trying to talk to a girl when you haven't talked to a girl in 10 years, and you haven't seen your mom in 10 years. Like this guy, Anakin Skywalker, is mentally. Yeah, there are some things in there that are just not right up in his head because of that.
It's not his fault.
No,
I wouldn't say it's his fault.
It's the Jedi. It's the Jedi's fault.
Sure,
the Jedi fucked up with Anakin.
Sure, but
too
cringy.
Definitely.
No, yeah, sure, it's cringy, but you know,
it's cringy. But that's how people. You put someone in that situation, and then you tell them, "All right, go socialize and pick up a girl." They're gonna do the exact same thing. It's like, I like your skin.
It's not like it's not
like, what do I say?
I just like it. He's like, your skin's so soft, it's not like sand. Sand is very coarse. And I'm just like, oh my god.
But it shouldn't work on someone as hot as Natalie Portman. That's my
unless she was a creep.
Unless she was also a creep. But hot girls aren't creeps. I've learned that.
Well. Wait a minute.
We got to look at that scale from like hotness and craziness. Like,
just got to move it in that direction.
Padme's hot, so she's obviously very crazy.
And she's a politician, so.
But she is hot.
Hot politician equals crazy.
Yeah. There we go.
So, with that, let's move into episode 3, because with the new sequels and everything, with the most recent movie coming out, it kind of screws up everything in episode 3, because the reason why Anakin did what he did was because he was promised power in order to save Padme. So with the most recent movie that came out, that proved that if you're so strong, you can bring people back to life, which was the power that Anakin probably should have had. Like, when I watched the last one, I was like, well, this is stupid. Like, what's the point?
I would just like to say that I'm at the point where I do not acknowledge the sequels.
Oh,
I don't acknowledge them at all.
Yeah.
In my brain.
You do, Gabe?
Yeah.
Tell us.
Oh, yeah.
It's pretty distant from what we're seeing coming from the Star Wars universe right now, you know, like timeline wise. And it was not executed well at all. As movies, they're not good. But like I said, I do consciously think about the whole story as often as I can, and there's a lot of opportunities to do that. So from that standpoint, I have to include them as to what we may see develop from what's being released from Star Wars now.
Yeah, I don't disagree. The episodes 1 and 2 aren't very good either. But the lore that came later and connected to it is what can make it good.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm hoping that we build those connections to the sequels later. Is that going to make the movies good? Probably not. But there will be little nuggets in there of like, oh, this thing connects to this thing, and that ended up being awesome. So I feel I understand what you're saying, but as of right now, at this point in time, sequels, no.
My thing with the sequels is that, to me, they just don't fit what George Lucas has set up for Star Wars. I think the sequels are amazing movies alone by themselves if Star Wars never existed. And that's why I feel like episode 7, 8, and 9, especially episode 7 when it came out, I just felt like it was more of everyone that worked on that episode, like J.J. Abrams directed it. I felt like for him, it was like, oh, this is how I would have done it if I would have created Star Wars.
Right.
And I feel like from that point on, everyone kind of had to like, okay, well, I want to work on Star Wars, and this is how I would do it. And then episode 9's like, well, now we got to tie it all together. How do we do that? And they didn't follow the George Lucas formula because episode 1 and 2, movie wise, Jar Jar Binks was pretty annoying, and you can say that maybe the CGI.
I still consider Jar Jar Binks a hidden Sith Lord, though. Did you look at his eyes and stuff? Like, that dude, they might have had plans for him to be a Sith at one point or another.
Imagine if he was the main villain of episode 9. That would have made that movie so much better.
Well, let's talk about Duel of the Fates. Who's the guy who's supposed to direct episode 9?
Colin Trevorrow.
Colin Trevorrow. His original script was so much more dope than fucking Rise of Skywalker was.
Did y'all see concept art from it?
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
The Force Ghost Luke grabbing Kylo Ren's lightsaber blade. Just buckets. And I was like, oh my God, we could have had something great and special. Yeah, episode 8 sucked, but this one could have made up for it. Possibly. And then they fired him, went back to JJ, and we know how that went. And it's not satisfying to me at all.
Well, it's kind of like what Oscar was saying. Like, if you take those movies away from the franchise and everything, it could have been its own thing. I think where they screwed up was with episode 8. When you start making franchises where the first one was, I mean, the first one did really well. I mean, everybody was excited where we're getting another.
It was a nostalgia.
Yeah, it was a nostalgia boost. But then when you take the director off and you give it to whatever, I can't even remember that dude's name, that came in and directed episode 8.
Rian Johnson.
Yes, Rian Johnson. And he decided, you know what? Let's just screw everything up and let's just, let's make Luke this bitter old man.
Let's make Star Wars how I would have done if I would have created it. Like, that's the thing. It's like episode 7 and 9 are over here, and episode 8's like over here, and then episode 1 through 6 is like the perfect circle.
Right.
Yeah,
over here.
How the sequels feel, they just feel like they just ignored just all the good stuff,
like they ignore the fact that, hey, we have to follow what George Lucas set up, and I think they were thinking of, let's just do what we want to do, stamp Star Wars, these idiots will eat it up because they love Star Wars and they'll pay for it, we'll get our money, everyone wins.
Yeah, but they didn't have a plan.
No, they didn't.
Came out later, like it feels like they didn't have a plan, and it was confirmed they didn't have a plan. They just bumped out one by one, and
it's so disappointing because episode 7 gave me a lot of hope that there was a plan.
Yeah, I love episode 7. I really like it a lot.
But the fact that it leads to nothing.
Yeah. I can't watch it because it just pisses me off now because I know episode 8 and 9 follow. I think Oscar said it. I think the compromise where they really fucked up is making this sequel trilogy a part of the Skywalker saga.
Yeah.
If it would have just been the start of a new saga, those movies could have sucked, but at least it's not tied into original Star Wars.
Like the whole Rey Palpatine crap.
Fuck all that. Somehow Palpatine returned. Like, that's lazy as shit.
Yeah.
Dude, yeah.
He
fucking
just
everything.
undermines Anakin's whole thing
Sacrifice,
about
yeah.
sacrifice and bringing people back and that whole story.
But I think that was their thing, was they wanted to basically undermine the history of it, because like Oscar said, it was a cash grab, a nostalgia boost, and hey, screw you fans, you're gonna eat this no matter what we say. And of course it did. It made a bunch of money, new theme parks and crap like that, and the Disney parks and stuff like that, because it did.
It did, yeah.
And Star Wars needed that money. It's fun. The Mandalorian and the Book of Boba Fett now.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah, okay. So basically the sequels is like the Jesus Christ of Star Wars.
No, it's not. No,
No, like
no, it's not.
people sacrifice themselves for our sins.
No.
Sean Favreau.
But
Dave Filoni.
imagine how much more money they could have made if those movies ended up being
Badass, yeah.
Yeah. They could have got
They had the books. Like if you
They
ever
didn't have the leadership. They didn't have
No, because Kathleen Kennedy said there's no source material.
seeing that's
Yeah.
crap, because Luke had his own kid, and Han and Leia had twins, and now everything like that. Like they literally had the format that would actually work, because I've read some of those stories and they were amazing. Like I was like, why didn't they do this?
Yeah. I hope that they give George Lucas an opportunity to direct another Star Wars movie, because no one understands Star Wars more than George Lucas, other than maybe Dave Filoni.
Yeah.
Yeah.
George Lucas's wife.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's true. That's
She
true.
spoke on it and she was 100% correct. Nothing she said was wrong. I
I
always
should know her name. Can we have someone Google the name? I feel bad for not knowing her name. She's a woman who
Mrs.
is very-
Lucas.
It's Lucas.
yeah, no, after the sequels, I was like, Disney is the worst thing to happen to Star Wars, which is crazy because it's the best thing. But now I'm starting to retread on that, now that we have Book of Boba Fett and The Mandalorian and Ahsoka, and hopefully the Obi-Wan series ends up being
Yeah, that's right. I forgot about the Obi-Wan series. That's gonna tie 3 and 4 together to find out what the hell was going on. I mean, granted, we have Rogue One and the Han Solo film, but that's one of the characters that we needed to know, which I honestly thought that Rey could have been a Kenobi,
Yeah,
I said the same damn thing.
I disagree.
She didn't have to be Obi-Wan's daughter or granddaughter or anything. She could have been the daughter of his brother or something. Just somewhere.
or the daughter of him and Satine.
No,
Yeah.
You didn't want that?
no,
That would make sense, bro.
no, it would
No,
not. Obi-Wan is a virgin, bro.
Obi-Wan is not a virgin.
He is a virgin.
No,
He's an alcoholic.
He
Yeah,
clapped.
he
royal,
is.
he clapped royal cheeks. Like Obi-Wan and Satine got it in. You don't have a woman go crazy over you like that unless you smashed and put it down good.
That's what makes him badass, because he denied her, bro.
No, he clapped. She went crazy, and then he was like, "No, Jedi code, move away."
No Jedi code. I
No
broke
kid.
it once. I
was
can't do
his
it again.
excuse. That was his ticket out. That was his ticket out.
He's like, nah, I don't fuck with Satine no more.
Qui-Gon
He's like,
Jinn
"Catholic, forgive me,
emphasized
for I have sinned," and then you're just okay. you're good.
Exactly.
Qui-Gon Jinn emphasized the importance of relationships. That's why he wanted to mentor Anakin the way he wanted to mentor him. So he could have very well let Obi-Wan, like, hey,
It's true.
there's that girl over there.
Qui-Gon's
Go
Force
get-
Ghost was
go
just
get it, my boy.
coaching Obi-Wan every step of the way. He's like, dude, I'm right here. You better do it.
Bro,
Like,
Master
clap
Yoda had
cheeks.
been fucking for 800 years.
Did you guys watch the Star Wars gallery behind the scenes of Mandalorian season 1?
I did. Yes.
I haven't.
Oh, dude, there's a great episode where Dave Filoni talks about the importance of Phantom Menace,
Yes.
Oh,
like how Phantom Menace is like the most important Star Wars film, and just the way he talks about Star Wars, it's like, man, this guy truly gives a shit.
yeah, like him and Jon Favreau. Like, I have so much respect for Jon Favreau, and I've actually been watching a lot of his old movies, like Swingers and
Iron
the
Man.
like Iron Man. And then if you've ever seen the movie Chef,
Chef was pretty
Oh
good.
yeah.
Oh,
Chef,
definitely.
that is one movie that I can watch consistently because
Some of those feel good movies.
it's just, and knowing how good of a director he was, he trained with chefs because he wanted to get the movie right, down to the cutting, the way they, hold themselves up and everything like that. And, they did a show on Netflix. It's Chef, and it's him and Chef Choi that they go around and they, do it, just a typical chef show. But knowing how he is so passionate about other things, when I found out his name was attached to Star Wars, I was just like, oh dude, we're in good hands. Like,
Yeah.
I believe in him and Dave Filoni. Like,
Side note, do you know the story behind him making Chef? His
no.
Marvel situation. So
No.
it all stemmed from like Iron Man 2. Not Kevin Feige, who's the head of Marvel Studios, but they had a separate team at the time that was also overseeing the movies. And they gave him an incredibly hard time on it just to sell like toys and basically a money grab. And he left after Iron Man 2 and went and made Chef. And the Chef story is about, I can't make what I want. I'm going to go open a taco truck.
Yeah.
And it's literally his story, just centered around food instead of films. And I was like, this is beautiful, and it's a well executed movie. Jon Favreau is one of the film gods of Hollywood.
Yeah, and he's like super passionate in everything that he does. Like, it's just one of those things.
Yeah,
because like him talking, like if you watch the Netflix show on the Chef show, like you can still see, and they even there's an episode of the cast from, I believe it's Spider-Man Homecoming, I think it was the one, because it has Tom Holland, Robert Downey Jr., Kevin Feige, and I think it was the Russo brothers that were there. And they were all sitting in Atlanta, eating at this like seafood place and everything like that, and they're all just talking. You can see how passionate each one of those people are, but dude, Jon Favreau is really good. And if there's any movie that you need to see, you have to watch Swingers. I actually watched that last weekend, and it's like one of the first films he had done. And it's another feel good movie.
Yeah, I haven't seen it since I was like maybe 10 or 11, and I caught it on
Is that the
cinema.
one with Vince Vaughn?
Not too late.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have seen that one. Yeah,
I
that's a good
haven't
movie.
seen it in forever, but I have good memories from what I remember.
I just like it because Vince Vaughn is like, dude, you're money, man. You're money, dude. You don't know how much. You're just money, baby. Come on. Like,
Dude.
Wait, let's not forget that Jon Favreau was in Daredevil.
Oh yeah.
But he didn't make Daredevil.
He didn't make Daredevil, but he was in
he was Foggy. He was Foggy Nelson.
Foggy Nelson.
Yep.
I watched, dude. So I haven't seen that movie since I was like 8, and I watched it like 2 nights ago, and man, I wanted to throw up. It's so fucking bad.
It didn't hold up to your
No,
expectations.
not compared to the Netflix show. No way.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
That
That's
was so good.
Dude, we
But
could
Daredevil
start
was one of
talking
those
about
first movies
that.
As a kid, I liked so much.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I loved it. I was like, dude, Ben Affleck's pretty cool. Like,
Watching one of your favorite heroes in the big screen, it's like, heck
Yes.
yeah.
I feel so bad for Ben Affleck because he is a talented filmmaker. He's a talented actor. But when it comes to comic book material,
He's fucked.
he gets fucked all the time. Daredevil, Batman versus Superman, Justice League. Hopefully the Flash comes out better, but I don't know. I'm not liking the way it's looking so far.
Yeah, because it keeps getting pushed back consistently, and I'm
so
like,
good as Batman. He looked the part, bro.
oh yeah,
He could have been the definitive Bruce Wayne and Batman.
Yeah, dude. He's the most Batman-looking Batman ever.
But Robert Pattinson is gonna take that shit.
Yeah, he is.
Kill it. He's gonna
He's gonna kill it.
yeah.
But-
I hands down, like, after, because I used to be so mad that Ben Affleck was going to be Batman until I saw him, and then I ate my words. And so, like, with Robert Pattinson, I'm just gonna let it happen. These trailers look awesome. I'm pretty sure he's gonna kill it, and I'm just gonna wait. I'm not gonna bash on him or anything, because of course he's gonna get that.
Yeah, I learned my lesson after Good Time, which was one of the first movies he did after Twilight. I was like, Robert Pattinson trying to act? I'm not gonna
I
watch.
watched The Lighthouse.
saw it.
Another one of those.
I heard The Lighthouse was really good.
Yeah.
I've been told to watch that one.
Robert Pattinson has not made a bad performance since the Twilight. Like
And that wasn't even his fault, really. It wasn't his fault.
well, it wasn't. It was the direction and writing, but like he has.
He looks as good as Batman has ever looked in the bat suit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's gonna kill it. I'm gonna be there with 6 movie tickets watching him. I-
You
No.
know, he could do, shrugs a little bit more, but who am I to speak, who am I?
Yeah, one of the things with Robert Pattinson was like he didn't want to work out. He was the only actor that has refused to actually get in shape for Batman, and I'm like, I was like, all right. Like he takes off his shirt and he's just all flub and everything like that, and he's like, yeah, it's time to take on Gotham. Let's go.
I feel like he was just being a little cheeky with that. Of like,
Yeah,
these are the answers everyone gives. I'm gonna give a bullshit answer and get the people listening. And
Well-
just like, did you work out for it? Absolutely not. No.
Well, also you had Ben Affleck, who was the last Batman, who said he hated training for that shit.
yeah.
Him
He's
and
also an
Henry
old ass
Cavill. Him and Henry Cavill like were workout buddies, and they would work out together on set and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
Justice League and Batman v Superman.
But they're old ass men. Of course they don't want to work out.
Also, I never realized how huge of a human being Affleck was until
Enormous.
Superman.
Yeah,
I realized like, oh, this. I knew he was tall, but I was like, this dude is massive,
like he's built like a house.
which is how Bruce Wayne should look. Like,
Yeah. I think of the animated series and stuff, how he's just kind of all shoulders
just
and
top heavy.
yeah.
Batman the Animated Series is the best that Batman has ever been portrayed. in my opinion.
Yes.
I would say the Arkham games.
Yeah, that's up there.
Yeah.
Because because it uses the same voices, because it uses the same themes. So, it all stems from that. The best Batman we ever see stems from that.
You just now you get to play it, so you're like, yes,
Yeah.
I'm in it. I am Batman.
So Kevin Conroy, the voice of Batman, is always going to be Batman to me because
Yeah, I read the comics in that voice.
exactly, me too.
Same
Like,
thing with Mark Hamill as the Joker.
yep. Those two are always going to be that. I actually got to meet Kevin Conroy at Tulsa Con.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
He super cool. Like I was waiting in line. He literally stands up on his table and recites the I am vengeance, I am night, I am Batman, and like literally all of us were like, oh my god, like, oh! Like I love this so much.
Somebody
Even,
passed out.
yeah, he signed my my Mask of Phantasm like
Nice.
poster, and but yeah, super nice guy.
Nice.
Hey, taking it back to Star Wars real quick.
It's like, man, dude, we can just talk about everything, It's
This
all
is
right.
this is the nerd podcast where we talk about anything nerd, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
But taking it back to Star Wars real quick, I want y'all's opinion, because my opinion on Ahsoka, the character Ahsoka,
Yeah.
I fucking hated her at first. In Clone Wars, she was so annoying and childish and just like, what the fuck is going on?
Yep.
And I did not like Clone Wars overall, especially when season 6 came around, because they knew that it was getting canceled and they just kind of wrapped it up in a bullshit way. But when Ahsoka decided to leave the Jedi Order, I was like, okay, that's cool. And then Dave Filoni brought season 7 in, and Ahsoka is just a fucking badass of a character because she grew up a little bit. And then we get her live action in The Mandalorian season 2, played by Rosario Dawson. And it was just like, oh my God. Dude, Ahsoka is the shit. She's so fucking cool.
You miss out on a lot of good Ahsoka shit in season 2 of Rebels if you don't watch it.
Oh no, I've watched Rebels, and she
Okay.
honestly, Ahsoka is fucking dope as shit in Rebels too.
Yeah.
I love her in Rebels. She's probably the best part of Rebels in connection with Darth Vader.
Yeah.
And that's where the I am no Jedi line comes from.
Oh,
Every time I see that scene.
so fucking good. So
Amazing.
what's y'all's opinion? Did you guys always like Ahsoka, or do you guys don't give a shit? Or
I definitely warmed up to her. I don't know exactly when that happened. I just know that now I'm a huge fan. Her character's so fleshed out, and deservedly so. Man, she's the apprentice to Anakin Skywalker. Like, she's as close to him as anybody, as close to him as Obi-Wan was, maybe closer, you know. So seeing that connection play out is so exciting, because for the longest time in Star Wars, all we had and all we needed to have was the Skywalker saga. You know, that's the original trilogy. If you never watched anything else Star Wars, that would be okay, as long as you've seen the original trilogy, because Skywalker's story is that moving, you know. And now there's just so much behind him that it's a disservice to Anakin Skywalker, Darth Vader, who is the heart of Star Wars, if you don't pay attention to all this other stuff, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Essentially, the story of Star Wars is just how the Skywalker family fucks up an entire galaxy. So you're not. Darth Vader is the heart of Star Wars.
Well, it's a classic tale of heroes and villains. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
humans have enjoyed that for millennia, so it's just another take on it, which is, I think, beautifully done.
Yeah.
My opinion on Ahsoka, honestly, I didn't mind her when I first saw her in Clone Wars, because when I started watching Clone Wars was when it first came out on Cartoon Network. So I was still a kid. I mean, I was like, we were barely like in 4th, 5th grade.
Yeah, we were kids.
Like when the original Clone Wars came out.
Well,
Not
the Getty Dranzitsky cartoon, the badass one. Like that one was like, yo, I'm a big Star Wars fan. No, I'm talking about the animated.
Okay, I was
one.
like the 2D or the 3D.
No, the 3D.
Yeah.
So when the 3D came out, we were what, like in the 4th, 5th grade?
No,
We were like, I feel like we were already like fixing to probably go. We were like maybe in the middle of junior high, maybe.
I think we were in junior high. Yeah.
We must have been like in the 6th grade, because Clone Wars went on for quite a while, even until we were in high school.
Yeah.
But anyway, I mean, I followed it. Like when Cartoon Network announced Star Wars: The Clone Wars, right? Animated, not the cartoon, not the 2D one, but a new one. And I mean,
It came out in 2008. The movie did.
2008. Yeah, I remember I went to go watch that with Devin at movie theaters. I wish he was here, but I was hooked because I kind of just liked the fact that we get another alien that kind of looked like Shakti, and I already forgot their name, that species of alien. But I liked her from the beginning, just because, like, as a kid, it was like, yeah, you know, like they're trying to, like, you can tell that character was to connect with the audience. And I just love how she's basically grown up with us, to where now it's like, yeah, I'm an adult, but I was introduced to you when you were a kid and I was a kid. So it's almost kind of like, man, you know, this character has definitely grown up with us. And it's like, I connect with that. So I've liked her from the beginning.
That's cool. That's cool.
No,
that's how I felt about Logan.
Wolverine. Yeah.
Like when we saw Logan in theaters when it came out, and I got a headache from how hard I was crying, because
check this out.
Oh shit!
Awesome. Logan.
No, that's
It's one of my favorite comic book stories.
Oh yeah, it's a great novel.
Yeah, as soon as I heard the concept, I was like, I'm going out and buying this. Bought it, read the whole thing, and was just like mind blown. And then I can't remember the director's name, but knowing that he had such limited rights, he didn't have access to all the characters to do a faithful old man Logan. He still pulled off what he did. Flawless.
It's one of the best comic book movies of all time, for sure.
Absolutely.
It's up there with The Dark Knight.
Oh yeah,
100%. No,
which, as we all know, is the bar by which all superhero movies.
Spider-Man 2.
I got to disagree, Sergio. The Dark Knight, yeah, it's dope. But I don't know if it's the bar. Spider-Man 2 for me is
Spider-Man 2 is the bar.
Yeah. Really? Oh God, we could just have a discussion between Spider-Man 2 and the Dark Knight.
I'm with Sergio. I think for me, the Dark Knight is perfectly balanced as a superhero movie. But with every aspect that is Batman and the Joker, I think it's there.
Yes, the only problem with the Dark Knight is that Christian Bale is a great Bruce Wayne, but not a great Batman.
What?
Oh
Come
no!
on. Like I get where you're saying. Like,
what makes you say that though?
why is he not the Batman?
It's the Batman voice and him not really coming across as intimidating.
That's the best part.
It's the voice of vengeance.
Yeah.
No.
Wait,
He
you
doesn't have the
gotta
best voice. He
admit
doesn't
that-
have the best voice, y'all. He doesn't. He knows that.
But it's
That Batman
fine.
doesn't have the best. That's fine.
But you have to admit, he was the first actor to ever change his voice for Batman because, like,
Mhm.
oh, hey, I'm Bruce Wayne. And then he disappears. Hey, guys, I'm Batman. Hey, what's going on? Like, but he was like
Batman
the
is,
first.
in the eyes of criminals, a monster. He is, he's something beyond human, and that's what Christian Bale was going for,
The
And
symbol of fear.
it's
Yeah.
not sexy. It's definitely not sexy. It's not Kevin Conroy by any means. But
Oh,
for
yeah.
the sake of striking fear into the hearts of criminals, which is what he does, it's a monster that's gonna take you away. At least that's
Yeah, but I'm more scared of Christian Bale himself than Christian.
yeah. Christian Bale's a psychopath.
Thinking of him as American Psycho instead of Batman.
Yeah, no, that terrifies me. But him as Batman, I was just like, I don't believe you. I believe you as Bruce Wayne, but I don't believe you as Batman.
But the
Dude,
thing,
he killed it as Bruce Wayne though. Like he was just that
He did.
arrogant, cocky person.
but he also killed it as Batman in the detective aspect of it.
Not really.
Yeah.
We
He did.
No,
I think in the Dark Knight he broke that barrier when Mr. Fox tells him like what you're doing is so unethical, but it's like this is the only way I'm gonna catch
with
him.
all the cameras.
Yeah,
and-
like I
yeah.
have to break those ethical bounds to basically
To
become
find this
the world's
person.
greatest detective.
Here's the thing about that part, though. That wasn't Bruce Wayne or Batman being detective. That was Lucius Fox. That was Lucius Fox's
Well,
technology and
let's see.
him being detective. And then Bruce
Well,
Wayne stepping in and be like, "Oh, I'm going to use this."
Batman.
Bruce Wayne is a
the
terrible
knight.
detective in those movies.
What is Batman? Batman is he is the world's greatest detective. He is the Dark Knight. He is the final monologue of the movie essentially. But how well does that Batman do that job? I mean, you can't focus on the full detective part, or Nolan didn't. Nolan did not focus on the full detective part. He didn't focus on
Just the physical attributes of Batman. And I mean, because for me, the Dark Knight wasn't like the Joker says, do you think that I was gonna win Gotham with a fist fight with you? Like it wasn't just Batman going out there beating up bad guys. It was more of like a psychological, the Dark Knight versus the
Joker.
Dark
the
Knight.
Prince of Crime. It's a mental battle, and it's like, yeah, like I want that Batman
which is why Spider-Man 2 is better.
because it's just action.
Because it's
Non-stop
the psychological thing. It's Peter
You
Parker
give me, like,
struggling
1
with
second.
Spider-Man. What,
That's what it is.
Sergio?
It's all about the psychology. You're absolutely right. The Dark Knight is the best superhero movie because no movie captures the psychology of Batman.
Oh, Spider-Man 2.
Spider-Man 2 does it
The
better.
principles. He doesn't kill. He doesn't. He's got his code. The code is Batman's, kind of, I guess.
Spider-Man also
Doesn't kill.
But with Spider-Man, he just loses faith in him being Spider-Man, and he questions himself, can I be Spider-Man? And he loses his powers because of it.
It's a mental block.
It's not that he can't be Spider-Man. It's that Peter Parker wants to be Peter Parker.
And
Yeah.
he's trying to find the balance in being
And-
Peter Parker and Spider-Man.
And that's real life shit that
Yeah.
everyone goes through. And the drama, the writing, like when Peter admits to Aunt May that he's the reason that Uncle Ben got killed. Dude, one of
That
the best
scene
cinema.
is-
That scene is heavy, man.
It's so heavy for a family-friendly superhero movie. This
Yeah,
is
man.
like, oh god, this is real shit. Why am I crying right
If y'all are wanting to go with like psychological, if you go back to Batman Begins, that betrayal of going up all the way, it shows him training, his parents dying. And before he even goes on that training route, he was already planning to kill that person in that, in that courtroom. He already had the gun in his pocket and everything to show that he was already at that point that he did not care what happened.
Yeah, no, I actually really love Batman Begins.
I hate Batman Begins.
What?
What?
It does a good
Yeah,
job. I think it does a good job.
I think it's boring as fuck.
What?
It's Batman's origin story. Batman's origin story had never been told on screen.
Yes.
And we get Ra's al Ghul and Scarecrow.
I like
love
Scarecrow. I
Alright.
like Scarecrow.
I have to do a nerd nitpick here because I think I'm the oldest person here.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah.
Fuck
So
yeah.
I hate Chris Nolan for one thing, only,
Roz.
and it is the pronunciation of Ra's al Ghul.
It's Ra's al Ghul. Yeah.
It's Ra's al Ghul.
Ra's
And
al
no
Ghul.
one said Roz until Christopher Nolan's films. That is the only reason I hate Christopher Nolan. Nothing
It's hard to
great person and a fantastic filmmaker.
It's hard
But
to
it's rich.
compare Spider-Man 2 with The Dark Knight because Spider-Man and Batman are so different as characters, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, sure, but you can.
And
It's like
so,
apples and oranges.
I bring up my trump card. A hero is only as good as his villain, and the best villain in cinematic history is the
The
Joker.
Joker. Nobody's gonna be like, I love Doc Ock more than the Joker. Like, oh,
No, but here's the thing. So one of my friends brought this up, and he said that Spider-Man's Rogues Gallery is better than Batman's. And I said, "You're crazy. What is wrong with you?
I don't.
Explain your point." And he said, one thing. Spider-Man's Rogues Gallery doesn't depend on characters being insane. They actually have depth. And I was like,
That's a good.
no,
point.
because
oh shoot. You know
I
what?
had to stop. And I was like, wait a minute. This dude is right.
That's a good point.
That
This dude
it.
is absolutely right.
Oh gosh. Now you know what? That almost like,
Counterpoint: Harvey Dent.
but Harvey Dent had a psychological breakdown though.
He has
And then-
multiple personalities.
Red Hood had a psychological breakdown from being killed by
Catwoman
the
is-
Riddler has OCD. Scarecrow.
They are. They all.
Bane.
Bane, not so much.
Bane is insane.
Bane is insane, but he's also a badass detective. I think Bane is aware of what he's
Bane
doing.
is driven. Slade
Yeah,
Wilson is
Bane
the
is
Batman
driven.
villain, yeah.
I would say
Bane is probably the best Batman villain over Joker.
he's
No, Mr. Freeze. Oh, Mr. Freeze is not insane. He's obsessed.
About his dead wife.
Yeah, about his dead wife. I don't know. Ra's al
Freeze.
Ghul.
I'm
Ra's al Ghul has a, basically an agenda. I mean, he's a leader of an organization.
not
So, I mean, but I do get your friend's point because
but also lesser fit.
most of those characters do have, something wrong with them. But yeah, in not Batman, in Spider-Man though, most of them they just want to be bad.
Or
you
they
know?
just want to kill Peter Parker.
Yeah,
I'll get you, Parker.
I need pictures of Spider-Man.
Who only steals money to take care of his sick daughter. You have Scorpion and Rhino who don't want to do bad things, but are stuck in their suits and are trying to find money to get a way out of those suits.
Yeah.
Green Goblin he's insane.
He's
I'll give you that one.
He's crazy.
He's just crazy. Lizard has no control over himself.
He
If
just
he-
wanted to have his arm back.
He just wants his arm back. Doc Ock is controlled by his tentacle arms. He's actually 100% sane. He's just under the control of machinery. Like Spider-Man's villains have depth and are not just relying on being crazy.
Well, and another aspect, while we're comparing the films, I am more of a Sam Raimi fan than I am of a Chris Nolan fan.
You know what? I'll agree with you there because I love Sam Raimi
I love Nolan. I haven't done
just because of the Evil Dead movies.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Ash versus the Evil Dead
Yes.
and
Dracula.
Bruce Campbell. Him and Bruce Campbell's relationship is just absolutely the best.
Yeah.
Like, so funny thing is that same con that I was telling y'all about, that Jason David Frank and yeah, it was my first Tulsa con that I'd ever been to, first Comic Con I'd been to, and Bruce Campbell was there too. He was wearing this like yellow suit and everything like that, and I was on the con floor walking around, and somebody next to me, I look up and I'm like, I looked over to my wife now. We were dating at that time. I was like, I think that's Bruce Campbell next to me, but I wasn't gonna be one of those guys and been like, hey, Bruce Campbell. So I just, I ignored it because I was like, surely not. He was like walking in a sea of people with nobody around him. And the guy in front of me probably had the same idea. And he goes, are you Bruce Campbell, sir? And he just looks at him and goes, what the fuck? No. And walks off. And so he walks off. And so we go to his panel. Here he comes up on the stage. And I was like, that fucking dick. Like, that was Bruce Campbell. Like,
That's awesome, though.
he's just walking through a sea of people, and they do that. Like, if you ever go to cons, they will do that because, you know, mentally, like us, we don't ever think that we're going to bump into somebody famous.
Right.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden they're just walking around. I saw one actress do that. She went out from her little photo panel, walked into a crowd of people, took pictures with these 3 girls that were dressed from Hocus Pocus as the witches. She wanted a picture with them. And those girls had no idea who that lady was.
Oh my gosh.
And then as they didn't notice until after she took the picture and she walked back to her booth.
Wow.
I once ruined Jason Segal's midday espresso by recognizing him.
Oh, shoot.
Oh man, how did that go?
Awesome! I got a fucking picture.
Dude, I love How I Met Your Mother. Like,
Yeah, I love How I Met Your Mother too.
I haven't been very lucky on meeting celebrities, but the one I did meet was at I think it was Big Texas Comic Con, and Maurice LaMarche, who voiced Brain in Pinky and the Brain,
oh, wow.
voiced some Transformers, and was also Mr. Freeze in the Arkham games. I had a picture of Mr. Freeze, and he signed it for me, and that's been my big freak out celebrity moment. This voice actor that no one knows the actual name to, but voicing some of my favorite characters and just being like, oh my God.
I'm wondering if he was the voice in the animated series then, because a lot of, kind of like what Gabe said, was a lot of the voice actors in the Arkham games were from, you know, the series and everything like that.
Yeah. I don't remember if he did voice him in the show, but I know for a fact he's from the games because he signed one of the lines, "You will bring me Nora or you will die," to Sean. And I was like, oh my God.
Speaking of dope Batman shit and taking it back to Star Wars, Mark Hamill is the Joker, though.
Kills it.
Best voice.
The
Kills
best
it.
voice, yeah, for sure. Better than any of the live action Jokers, for sure.
Yeah,
Oh.
no, Hamill is the Joker for me.
The
Yeah,
laugh
his
is just
voice.
so piercing.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that laugh. Oh,
It's the laugh.
Yes.
It's
Well, wait. Troy Baker did a really good job, though.
but he based
He's
it
up there.
off.
He based
Yeah, his voice was just younger Mark Hamill.
Yeah. Yeah.
But man, Troy killed it.
Yeah, but I mean, it's Troy Baker. You can't go wrong.
Yeah.
with him.
I mean,
He can do anything.
Arkham Origins is my favorite Arkham game for sure.
Oh yeah,
Well-
that game is awesome.
Wait, what?
Arkham
No,
Origins.
yeah, I know that's a hot take. I know I'm wrong, but Arkham Origins is my favorite Arkham game for sure.
Dude, I played
Arkham
the
City.
shit out of Arkham Origins.
Hell
Arkham
yeah.
Origins, Arkham Asylum, Arkham Knight. That's how I would rank.
Arkham City's up there. I didn't play Arkham Knight. I really didn't.
Oh, Arkham Knight was really good. It was
I
a good
thought
way
it was-
to end it. It was a good way to end the series.
Yeah, I liked it.
I love the ending. It's so much of the
It's
tank.
it's too much tank
gameplay.
shit. It's too much tank,
Yeah, and
But we get to drive the Batmobile.
which is cool, but it was too much.
yeah, it was way. I just wanted to go cruising. I didn't want to have to take a
I
drive.
couldn't drive the Batmobile, bro. I couldn't. I drove a ZPQ-1 Corvette yesterday, and I didn't even step on it, bro. I just popped the gas and I fucking fishtailed. I was like, oh fuck, 2 and 2.
Speaking of Batmobiles, I think the new Batmobile and the Robert Pattinson is going to be the best Batmobile.
Oh yeah,
Really?
It looks like
Muscle
a
baby.
souped up
Muscle
muscle
car.
car. Yeah.
Yeah, dude, that's
Michael
fucking
Keaton's-
dope.
Michael Keaton's Batmobile's the best Batmobile.
Well, Michael Keaton is the best live action Batman
yes,
So far.
for one so far.
Robert Pattinson might dethrone him,
Maybe.
but yeah, I don't disagree. Mike Keaton's Batmobile is top 3 Batmobiles easily.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I
But-
did like the Tumbler in the Dark Knight. Like,
It was too much for me.
It was
Like,
cool.
it-
We
cool
ignored
design.
Tim Burton's Batman for this long. Oh, so good.
The Tumblr was it for something that's supposed to be set in real world realism, realistic. Even the villains, we don't even do the Lazarus Pit. Two-Face is a burn victim, not an acid victim. Like, this is 100% if Batman is in the real world.
Mhm.
You're
Yeah.
gonna get the biggest tank and jump across rooftops.
hey,
Sure,
come on.
it shouldn't. It should have been a souped-up muscle car.
I see what you're saying, Sean. I mean, I think with the Christopher Nolan Batman, they could have given him more of like a little stealth more
Yeah.
stealthy car, like a
But that's what the motorcycle part was. That's built inside of the,
Yeah,
the
the
tumbler.
motorcycle part was cool. I have no problems with that one. What they
That
should have
was so cool.
Tumbler for the very last Batman movie or Dark Knight movie with the whole war scene with Bane and
Where the best iconic line where he's like, what was it, Oscar? We were talking about this the last
he's
time.
like, oh, you came to die with your city.
Oh, fucking
No, I came for you.
I came for you.
Kiss me now.
Nolan got lazy there. Nolan, if you ever see this, you got lazy, bro.
I love it. He's like,
I
came for you. Let's go on a date. Kiss me now.
That was one of the worst movie theater moments.
Where you're like, hey, he's here. And then, I came for you. Let's fight.
I was in the movie enough for it not to really affect me when I was watching it, but yes, Matt, you never let me fucking forget it. Thank you.
Well, dude, I remember us going and seeing that shit together in theaters.
We did.
We saw it together, and I
Yeah.
literally stood up like, "What the fuck?" Like that was so bad.
Is this the outtakes?
The choreography in that film is really bad too.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
It's par with
Ben
the
Affleck
last
is the
Jedi.
best fighter. Ben Affleck has been the best fighter we've seen.
Yeah,
Yeah. So I remember watching, was it Batman v Superman, where he goes inside where Martha's at and just wrecking shop, like coming out of the walls and stuff and using the grappling hook like you saw in the games and stuff and ripping them forward. I was like, this is great.
It's great until you realize a lot of those people are dead.
dead.
Now.
And
Yeah.
He's a murderer.
Yeah, Batman
Affleck-
is supposed to be.
Batman is a murderer.
Where he's in the Batmobile just shooting up people and crap like that. I was like, all
Murders
right.
them with guns. That is
What's-
literally one of the only things you really have to remember about Batman is he doesn't fucking kill with guns.
And then he's shooting people, blowing people up left and right. And you're like, oh, okay.
Like,
Zack Snyder, your excuses are weak. If you ever see this, that's bullshit, bro. He shouldn't have killed.
I agree. At me.
So do y'all think that the new Robert Pattinson Batmobile, the souped up muscle car, is going to have anything like any cool gadgets or features to it? Or do you think
Yeah.
that it's just going to be like a really bulletproof, damage proof muscle car?
You gotta have gadgets.
they'll have like a few. It won't be like anything super crazy comic booky,
Yeah.
but I think they'll try to keep it realistic-ish.
Like
Yeah.
smoke
He
screen,
can definitely
maybe.
put guns on. He can definitely put guns in it. I think a lot of it's just going to be putting a
Dark Nitrous,
on
of
the
course,
car.
and shit like that. Yeah,
It might shoot out some spikes in the back to blow out some tires.
Yeah.
That's about
Like
it.
classic like Adam West kind of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
It
But
might be impossible to rob. You can't hotwire it. You can't take the wheels off. Things like that.
right.
yeah. Oh, do you think in this new Robert Pattinson series that we're gonna get a dope Robin live action?
I think
I
so.
hope
So
we haven't ever seen one.
yeah. I think since this is supposed to be like year 2 of Batman, I think we could wind up actually getting a good origin of like Dick Grayson and moving forward if this franchise kicks off. Not granted, as a kid, I watched the Batman and Robin movie and I loved it as a kid
Oh, yeah.
with
Who-
Chris
what-
O'Donnell
What kid didn't?
I like Chris O'Donnell's Robin.
and was
Yeah,
it
Batman
Arnold
Forever was super
Schwarzenegger
fun.
Yeah.
as Mr. Freeze?
And Irma Thurman as Poison Ivy.
Yeah.
Oh.
That was my sexual awakening as a kid.
Yeah.
Like young, hot Uma Thurman as Poison Ivy. What?
And then the freaking Batman credit card, he's like, I never go home without it. And he just whips it out. I'm like, oh, that's super cool. Like,
and bat nipples.
yeah,
Ooh, yeah.
dude.
But-
If you're gonna do bat nipples, then have some balls and put bat nipples on the Batgirl suit. That's all.
Oh, I forgot about her being there. It wasn't that Elisa Silverstone or something like that.
Yeah.
That's one of my most hated comic book changes in the movies. Like, why is she not Commissioner Gordon's
Yeah.
daughter? Why is
She's
she,
Alfred's like niece or something like that.
what was the point of that change?
My brother always makes fun of the part where she's like, "Suit me up, Uncle Alfred."
Now I
I
have
have
to
not
get
watched that
that
film in
on.
a long time. I have not watched it in years. There's really not a lot of reasons to. I'll be honest.
Watch it just to see how bad it is.
It's so sad because, like, the first 2 movies with because Tim Burton directed the first 2 movies.
Yeah.
Was it Batman Returns, and then when Batman Forever came out was when
Joel Schumacher.
yeah, took over, and then Val
I didn't
Kilmer
think
took
Batman
over.
Forever was that bad. I still don't think it's that bad.
I love Batman Forever.
Batman Forever is awesome.
It's incredibly quotable and just a fun, silly movie to watch.
I like
Batman
it.
is just
I-
bad.
I used to have a screensaver as a meme, basically, of where he's like kissing the psychologist or something. She's like, I can't. I'm thinking of somebody else, and he knows it's Bruce, and he turns around and he just goes and then goes off. Like, I had that picture as my screensaver for the longest time because it used to just make me laugh all the time because he just gave this little like
Yeah,
he's
no,
super
Someone
super
needs to
happy.
meme that. We need to make that the next viral meme.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm actually going to set it as my lock screen now. Thank you for the inspiration.
But no, yeah, because Joel Schumacher took over that, and then that franchise tanked hard.
Bad.
And then when Batman and Robin came out, it tanked even worse, and they were like, we're done. And it wasn't until the Dark Knight trilogy wound up basically rejuvenating everything and basically saying, hey, with all this new technology now, we can actually make a more realistic, Batman stuff. And then with the Man of Steel and everything.
Speaking of realistic Batman stuff, if you haven't seen the Long Halloween animated movies,
Yes.
oh my God, they're so
Yes.
goddamn good.
Dude,
That-
all the
perfect.
animated.
Yeah,
That's one thing that DC definitely has over Marvel is
They're-
the animated films.
Yes.
Are the-
100%.
absolutely.
Yeah.
One of the best Batman movies, and I have the DVDs and everything like that, is The Dark Knight Returns, Part
Yeah.
1 and Part 2.
Bro.
That storyline, that Elseworld story comic and everything like that is just amazing.
My favorite animated one is Under the Red Hood. That is
That's
No.
a good one too. Yeah.
Wait, what's the one where Bane essentially beats Batman and puts him in the grave next to his parents?
Doom.
Justice League Doom.
Justice League. That's probably my favorite.
Where
Yeah.
Batman had all the contingency plans to take out the Justice League.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, there's what's another good anime? Oscar actually came over one time when we were in high school to watch The Dark Knight Returns.
And Flashpoint.
Flashpoint.
Oh,
Flashpoint.
Together. Y'all remember that?
Flashpoint may be the best.
Yeah.
It was so weird.
Really good. I'm better than Under the Red Hood, but it's good. I love Under the Red Hood and Flashpoint. Flashpoint is. I'm not going to shut up about it. So y'all. Well, I was about to go off on a whole tangent.
Well, what's funny was I never understood why DC couldn't get their shit together with their cinematic universe because all the animated movies
someone in charge.
connected.
Yeah.
They connected, then they hit Flashpoint, then they did the New 52, and they went, from there. And
Well,
then
I blame Zack Snyder.
Well, no, the problem is they were trying to compete with Marvel.
yeah,
They were trying to rush everything, and Marvel already
Was
stepped
heavy game.
into
They had
that.
their formula.
Yeah, they had
Yeah.
their formula.
yeah.
They knew people were going to watch their shit. DC tried to fucking compete. And honestly, I don't like any of the live action DCU films, really, except Shazam.
I was about to say,
I was
shit.
like, did
Man of
you,
Steel. You
Man
take
of
that
Steel.
back and you put Man of Steel in your mouth.
Man of Steel is trash. It's the best of the Superman movies,
I actually do like Man of
but
Steel.
it's trash.
I like Man of Steel, but Shazam is the best.
I liked it when he killed Zod because that threw me off. I was like, whoa, like
Yeah,
he
makes
just
sense.
snapped his neck though.
And honestly, the fucking Zack Snyder cut of Justice League is okay.
It's better than the
It's
theatrical,
better than the
Better.
actual cut.
but I still wouldn't say it's good.
It's not good,
No,
but it's better.
It's got a couple really amazing moments.
it had
Yeah.
really cool,
Yes.
but as a full film,
Yeah.
it's
Not cohesive.
I enjoyed it because it gave him basically the freedom to do exactly what he wanted with it, how he originally wanted to it. Because like in our DC episode that we had talked about was, they didn't give him time to mourn. His daughter had passed away, and they were like, well, you still got to wrap it up. Come on. We got a movie, to finish, like not caring. And then they brought Joss Whedon in thinking, hey, this guy directed the Avengers movie, and that movie did really well. Let's see if he can, piece together everything. But I liked Zach's vision for where he was going with that franchise that we'll never get to see now.
Yeah.
I love that he got the chance to put
Yeah.
his vision.
Didn't
I
execute.
don't like
but-
the vision itself.
Yeah,
But
but it's still a cool concept that the
Yeah.
internet won.
yeah, it's a historic moment
Yes.
in filmmaking in Hollywood. I just wish it was with a better project and a better director. Zack Snyder, if you see this, I'm sorry, not a fan of your films. Sorry, bro.
Well,
I'm sorry.
300. So.
I don't like 300. I like Dawn of the
I
Dead.
like the Guardians of Gahul.
No one ever talks about that one. I don't like that one either.
Very, very nice.
Yeah, I hate to be rude. I'm gonna run to the restroom real quick. Y'all keep going.
I mean, I can pause it if you want.
Yeah.
And we're back.
Yeah. So
It's all good.
let's just continue what we were talking about during our break. So we're talking about in DC Comics about kind of some of the underrated characters and everything. And we'll start with Static. And if anybody out there listening probably will remember the animated series Static Shock. And so Static, we were talking about, is kind of like a huge underrated, unused character that has so much potential, and we'll just take it from there.
We were just talking about how the comics addressed gang violence during the time, underage sex, drug use, abusive households, just the whole gambit and things that happen in Black communities, but not just necessarily to Black characters and people.
Yeah.
And Static covered all of that, and not in it was a very well executed way, and they could do all of that on screen and on television, and they haven't really done it outside of that one cartoon.
And it's funny because growing up as a kid, I always thought Static was just a character they created just for the TV show. And then when I got older, I found out, there was a history.
Mm-hmm.
And I never knew that Richie in the comic books was gay.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, that makes sense. And they kind of hinted it in the show because, he had his ear pierced and everything like that on, I think it was
WB.
Yeah, it was on the WB. And then, but, they still touched on some really good topics though in the TV show. I mean, yeah, they had to downplay it because it was played towards kids, but the gang violence, the bang babies, all that fun stuff. And, that show, it got a lot of love, but for some reason, DC and Warner Brothers never gave it the treatment like they did, like Batman, the animated series. There was no toy sales. There was no, anything like that.
Because at the time it was like, oh, he's Black.
Yeah.
We can't, we can't boost up a character who's Black just yet.
Other than Black John Stewart.
Other than
Justice League.
Wait, but that was later, was it not?
No, Justice League.
It was at the same time, around the same time.
I thought Justice League came out after.
Unlimited?
They even did a crossover thing.
Yeah, where Static was older, where that wasn't a Justice. Yeah.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, Justice League went to Static and he helped them defeat Brainiac.
Oh man, I gotta go back and watch.
Yeah, man. Shit's great.
It's on HBO Max.
Yeah, dude. God bless HBO Max.
Oh, dude, so good.
Yeah.
Sponsor me or us. HBO
Yeah.
Max, free subscriptions.
I'll take my first page.
Subscribers.
Right.
No, especially with HBO Max's DC section, where it has all the old shows, all all the animated movies right now. It's just a whirlwind of fun.
I've been watching Doom Patrol. I didn't watch season 2 when it aired, so I've been going back watching that and starting season 3. Doom Patrol might be the best live action DC show, period.
Oh, what about Titans? Did you ever watch Titans?
I hate Titans.
What?
Titans is so
watching Young Justice right
At
now.
least the first season.
There you go, Gabe.
The second season
Or
too.
Sergio.
They start off with Deathstroke being great and just do nothing with them.
Wait, but that's the classic DC history of doing live action Deathstroke. They start him off to be dope, and then they don't do shit with him. Even in Arkham Origins,
He had a pretty good fleshing out in Arrow.
He did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He had a good.
Yeah.
No, but in Titans, like when I first watched the first season of Titans, I was like, I forced myself, because I was like, man, I didn't like a lot of the stuff that they were doing. It wasn't until season 2 kicked in that I was just like, holy crap, okay, this show is good. And the most recent season, like, killed it. Like they're teeing it up for all kinds of different things that they can do.
My problems with Titans are very nerd nitpicky.
Good. That's what this show's for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They shit on Deathstroke at the end. They build him up great over season 2, and then it just drops off in the finale. And it's like, really? This is what you do to me? And then Starfire is just they massacred my baby. That's my girl. You Starfire wrong, and they did her interpretation entirely wrong. I don't blame the actress. Anna Diop is an amazing actress.
Yeah, so in the 3rd season, I don't want to spoil it for anybody.
I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it.
You can spoil it for me. I don't mind. Season 1 was terrible. Season 2
Spoiler warning.
good.
Yeah, spoiler warning for anybody who hasn't seen season 3. So
I'm okay with it, yeah.
So with your issues with Starfire, was it because of her weird flame powers?
It was the coloring of the fire. It could have been actual flames, just green, but
Okay.
it's fire. And I'm like,
So they explain in season 3 why it's like that. So you meet Blackfire. Blackfire comes in and everything like that. So Blackfire has no powers. And then you find out Starfire starts having these weird visions and these weird dreams. And she comes to conclusion. She has this vision where she sees herself as a kid. And because Starfire was the second kid, or wait, hold on. Or no, yeah, she was the second kid or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. That they suck Blackfire's powers out of her and transfer them into Starfire. And then all of a sudden, Blackfire gets her powers back, and it unlocks Coriander's, energy green, powers and everything. So she gets her comic book powers, but with a weird different origin of, her powers are
weird, but it kind of fixes it.
Yeah. And so it was really cool. And then it
I also don't like her not being the weird alien who doesn't really get Earth custom.
Colloquialisms.
Yeah. This is an alien woman who spent most of her life on an alien planet, gets to learn English through kissing, and still doesn't fully understand the ins and outs of the English language. And they never touch on that.
They almost made her like a hooker. Like in the beginning, like how she dressed and stuff. I was like, what? Starfire is a prostitute? Like,
yeah, I was like, why did they do that to the
That's
black woman?
disgusting. Where?
Well,
And that wig was terrible.
At the end of the day, nothing will compare to Teen Titans.
Correct.
yes.
Yeah, that is true.
That's one of the best superhero animated shows of all time.
Correct.
With the lead singers being Hi Puffy Yumi.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Ron Perlman is Deathstroke.
Perfect casting.
Perfect casting.
Man,
Yeah.
Ron Perlman.
Dude, I was at a comic book convention a couple years ago, and I was just standing there with my buds, and fucking Ron Perlman just walks right by me, and I'm like, and he's so cool, he just fucking ignored my ass, and he just kept going. Oh my god, it was Ron Perlman.
I would have freaked out.
Well, I'm chill.
Yeah, I'm usually chill. But if I'm gonna be like, hold on, wait a minute.
Yeah,
My childhood is freaking out right now.
I'm usually chill, except when I saw Ice-T in New York City, I was like,
What?
yeah, dude. I was staying at a hotel, and then the day we're checking out of the hotel, they're filming Law and Order in that hotel.
No way.
Yeah, dude. And then Ice-T walks in, and I'm like, holy shit. And he looks at me, and he's like, and I'm like, oh, anyway.
Anytime I think of Ice-T, I think of that John Mulaney joke where he talks about Law and Order. And he goes, "Did anybody ever suspect Ice-T would be on Law and Order?" It just cracks me up. He goes, like hearing him say like anal contusions, like he's like, this dude died of anal contusions, and that's all.
Considering that Ice-T put out Cop Killer,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah, very much so anti-cop, and then goes on to play cops. Law and Order is not his first cop role. He's done like 2 or 3 others. And
it's kind of like Ice Cube. Ice Cube's played cops and stuff now, and I mean,
fuck the
NWA.
police.
Yeah.
So it's like I'm letting go of the anger. I'll play a cop, sure.
Yeah, it's all right.
Eventually, it all comes around. He's like, man, as long as you stay in the
How much
game
you
long
paying me
enough,
for
it'll come around.
He'll become the villain.
Did y'all ever hear like going back to Teen Titans, the cartoon, that the Teen Titan was it Teen Titans versus the Teen Titans Go movie?
Oh, right.
Mm-hmm.
If that did really well, they were going to bring back the original Teen Titans series. And I don't know if that's still in the works.
I hope so,
I hope
because
so.
that movie was actually pretty decent.
Yeah, I liked it.
The movies was also decent.
Yeah. I wish their show was as good, but
The
it
show
has
I
shit.
don't know that I've
It
even
has
seen
its
a full
moments.
episode of that show.
It has its moments. Like Beast Boys rap episodes are pretty
man,
cool.
They're
No.
pretty. The movies were funny, but the rumors and stuff I heard that they were going to continue on from the last season of Teen Titans to continue on. And I was like,
isn't it?
yeah, it ended on a cliffhanger because I think at the what was it? They were fighting the what was it? The not the high five. The high five was like Jinx, Behemoth, and Billy Numeral. It was the Brain. They were fighting the Doom Patrol's villains. The Brain, yeah. And they saved all the Titans and everything. And I just remember at the very end of the episode, you have like it's panning up, and it's the original Teen Titans, and then everybody they've met throughout the whole series, like Speedy, like the Titans. What was it? Titans East.
Yeah,
and
East, West, all of them.
Moss and Minos and all those other ones, and then it ended. That was it. And so, I mean, they can always continue on. I mean, look at Young Justice. Young Justice is a good show.
A great show.
And that show shows the power of the fans as well, because everybody wanted that show to come back.
Yeah.
And it did.
It was just getting started.
Yeah. And so with Teen Titans, who cares if they have 2 different superhero shows with the same characters? You would still have fans like us that would still watch the crap out of both of those shows, knowing that, we're smart enough to know there's 2 different, multiverses and everything like that. And we know what show came first and everything,
Speaking of multiverse.
Oh, are we getting into Marvel?
Is it time?
It's time to talk about Spider-Man.
Yes.
Coming up in next month, but also that connection with Sam Raimi's Doctor Strange 2.
Yep.
And the fucking shit show that Loki left us with.
Yeah.
Oh.
And WandaVision.
Marvel is on their shit, man.
Oh my god. Okay, so I've been waiting on the Marvel talk.
On the Star Wars podcast.
On the Star Wars podcast.
It's okay. We'll label this
as everything.
Star Wars, DC, and Marvel, like
everything.
Court
Just
hearing.
Just call it nerd. Just call it nerd.
Honestly, that's what it is. Yeah.
I am full on invested in the MCU. Most of my comic book collection is DC stuff, and that's mostly because I'm a Batman fanboy. But Marvel is just hitting it consistently. Like their worst movie isn't all that bad. Like they're just killing it. And now they're going full on comic book nerd with bringing in alternate versions and alternate dimensions and everything. And I am so hyped for it. And there's rumors that they're going to introduce Professor X through the multiverse and the Illuminati. And
that'd be so good.
I get my theory on record very early, and it's not even as early as I would have liked to get this theory out there. I had this idea like 4 years ago in 2017 while I was sitting on my balcony smoking a doobie. And it's that Marvel's long-term plan with the multiverse truly is to connect everything down to the very first comic. I think they want to create the solidified continuity of the Marvel universe as seen in cinema, and it's gonna be like what DC did with Flashpoint, but from top to bottom connected. I think it's gonna be a top to bottom connected universe.
I think you're right, Sergio. I mean, they're even in the She-Hulk teaser when they have that weird ass Incredible Hulk 70s show thing that like they're trying to connect everything Marvel in this in the
that's ever made.
That's ever been made. And
it's gonna be perfect.
So we're gonna get Wesley Snipes' Blade.
Well, there's a rumor, and I don't know how true it is, but if it is true, it's gonna be crazy. That the villain for the Blade movie is gonna be Dracula, played by Wesley Snipes.
Oh, that would be so cool.
And I hope to Stan Lee's spirit that it is true. I need it to be true. Wesley Snipes as Dracula versus Mahershala Ali as Blade, just whooping each other's asses for 2 hours. I am in. I am all in. Throwing my money at the screen. Just fucking take my wallet.
Like, after watching Loki and seeing, because I love King the Conqueror. King the Conqueror is like one of my absolute favorite villains in the Marvel universe, because he also brings one of my favorite characters in Iron Lad. Yeah. I think what Marvel's going to do differently though with Iron Lad, or I mean, I could be wrong, but remember Hartley in Iron Man 3?
Yeah.
And so he was there at the funeral in Endgame. So a lot of people are speculating he's going to be Iron Lad. But that would also mean that he's also King the Conqueror, but with Jonathan Lee Majors being King the Conqueror.
Jonathan Lee Majors.
you have this little white kid growing up to become a black man. But with the multiverse, it could be different.
He operates across time and space, across all dimensions.
And nobody ever says you have to look the same in the multiverse. Just look at what they're going to do in Spider-Man. You got Toby, Andrew, and Tom. They were all Spider-Man, but, they could always be like, well, you don't look like me, and that could set it up.
Yeah.
Like, we don't look alike, but we're the same person.
Exactly.
But the hypest shit is that Charlie Cox is coming back as Daredevil.
Yes.
Dude.
Yes.
Again, I've rewatched Daredevil 3 times already.
Same.
Oh my gosh, I love that freaking
show. That show, he played it so well, to the point where in interviews, I thought he was blind. Like, when he would be out and about and he's like talking about doing some show on Broadway or something like that, I'm like, he's still doing the Daredevil thing. He's doing the, I'm just having a good time, like, I'm like, man, he played it so well.
He is Daredevil for sure.
Absolutely.
He is Matt Murdock.
Yes.
The thing I'm worried about is, even though, again, Marvel fanboy, MCU fanboy, they do have their cringy comedy moments. And the Netflix show did not have any of that. It was like, we're going all in. Netflix shows were
Punisher.
The Punisher. Do y'all think that they'll bring in John Berthal as a cameo,
so.
or
they will.
just to establish that he's part of the universe?
They will.
They will. All right. Y'all know Punisher's origin. Like, he first appeared in Spider-Man comic about to assassinate Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Thought Spider-Man was a murderer. What if in No Way Home, they think Spider-Man, of course, murdered Mysterio, and then someone hires Punisher to kill Spider-Man, and that's just a quick cameo.
And then Daredevil takes him out, like they're fighting, and then they segue off.
Right on a rooftop. It becomes Daredevil.
Oh, those two are still going at it.
Yeah. I see. Like, I told Oscar, I think No Way Home can be just as big as Endgame was. So No Way Home can be Infinity War, and then Doctor Strange's Multiverse of Madness can be Endgame. Like, those two movies together can set it up and be huge, because everybody's speculating. There's speculation that Ghost Rider is going to be introduced into the Multiverse of Madness.
I hope so.
And they could introduce mutants, like, Professor X can be in there. There's so many things that they can do with that movie. But I mean, going with Spider-Man, like you have three different actors who I absolutely loved all three of those actors as Spider-Man.
Yeah.
You know, I always said Toby played a good Peter Parker, Andrew played a killer Spider-Man, and then Tom Holland just basically took both of those things and took, kind of inspiration from both of them and created a good Peter Parker and a good Spider-Man. You have the high school innocent kid with the cracky, quick-witted, Spider-Man with all of his gadgets and stuff. So
how do you feel about
all of them hit their.
Spider-Man being supplied by Stark Tech? How do you feel about
Oh,
that?
I already know Oscar. Oscar calls Tom Holland Spider-Man Iron Lad.
I did, just because I know that there's a point where Spider-Man does get a lot of help from Tony Stark, but in the MCU, I just felt like they kind of they relied too much on it, and I was like, nah. Like in the MCU, I wanted to see Peter Parker be Peter Parker and him, like, Spider-Man, do his own thing. I didn't want him to be like, oh, Mr. Stark, like, what do I do now?
Yeah,
I didn't even want Peter Parker. I wanted Miles Morales.
Oh yeah, that'd been so good.
That would have been cool. They could have had Sony keep the Peter Parker and do their whole Venom verse on that, and then let the MCU
have Miles. That would have been
cool with that.
Well, me and Keegan actually were talking about this not too long ago, where we think that Miles Morales probably will be introduced later on, after maybe like No Way Home.
Maybe.
I'm perfectly fine.
Well, because isn't Tom Holland, his contract is
up, but he said he's willing.
That's what I was asking. Is Spider-Man freshman year? Is that a real thing? I saw that scrolling through.
It is a real
thing.
It
is. They announced it. They announced it with their new lineup of TV shows and some movies. I think that's the only movie they have announced, though. So
Tom Holland's not in it.
So the way Tom Holland explained it, which a lot of people, after this one interview, they thought Tom Holland was done being Spider-Man, like they were just going to kill him off, because he said, oh, this is the end of a trilogy. But if you look at the titles of everything, it's him in high school, Homecoming, Far From Home, No Way Home. And then freshman year, it's basically Peter transitioning into college and being on his own and everything. Kind of like how, what was it? Spider-Man 2, tackled, him going to college and struggling with that. I think that's what we're going to see in that, but him growing up more, a little bit more in detail. But going back to, with this Spider-Man relying on Tony, I think that was the only way you could bring him into the MCU the way they had to, because it was so in Civil War, he wasn't even supposed to be in that movie. They made an agreement with Sony. They're like, crap, we got to throw him in. We can throw him right here in this small scene, build him up, and then give him his own movie. So you had to tie him into one of these characters, because they couldn't, make a movie right away. It was just to get fans hyped up. And so
Civil War deserves so much credit for really cementing what could be the MCU.
Yeah. And because with the way Spider-Man is portrayed in the MCU, I liked it because it made sense, with him being how they portrayed him with the web shooters and everything like that. He already had made his web shooters and everything, just Tony just upgraded him even more. Yeah, and then, him evolving, and especially in Far From Home, where, Tony's gone, Tony's dead. And, Tony did trust in him. Like, he saw Peter as the next step. He's the next defender, of the evolution of superheroes. And, you kind of see him grow into his own when he makes his own suit, the iconic red and black, Steve Ditko, suit at the end of Far From Home. And so that's what I liked about it was, even though he did kind of seem like he was a little sidekick, but you got to remember, he's still a kid, and Tony was his hero. And, now his hero's gone, and now he has to fill in those shoes.
The one thing, I get what Oscar's saying about him relying on Tony too much.
Yeah.
But one thing I do love is that Tony Stark influenced their villains.
Oh, yeah.
Like Vulture, Shocker.
Yes.
Mysterio, all of them are centered around Tony Stark, but they're Spider-Man villains and classic Spider-Man villains. They're not original characters. And they're using the fallout from someone who changed the world like Tony Stark and using that to make their technology to be these villains. And I think that is a great way to do it, especially in this interconnected MCU.
Yeah.
Especially like Vulture's backstory.
Oh, dude, Michael Keaton fucking killed it.
Absolutely.
As Vulture. One of the best MCU villains, I think.
Top 5.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'm excited to see what they do with Scorpion. Because, I mean,
if they ever pick him back up, that's my favorite Spider-Man villain, #1 from the comics. And they introduce him without the suit in Homecoming and haven't done shit with him since.
Yeah. Has everybody seen the new Venom movie?
Yes.
No, but I don't give a shit. I know what the post-credit scene
Fair
is.
opinion.
Okay. So me and Oscar were talking about this. So with more than likely we're getting the Sinister Six in this new Spider-Man movie. Yeah. But the Sinister Six is expanded between all these different Spider-Man franchises, right?
Right.
So we'll start naming them off. So we know Doc Ock's in it. We know Green Goblin is from the Tobey Maguire, Sam Raimi universe. We know Electro and I think the Lizard. People have speculated in the trailer that they could see the Lizard coming from the tunnel after Tom. So that's 2 from Andrews. So we have more than likely, because I'm pretty sure Mysterio is dead. Like, I don't think Mysterio is going to be like, hey, everybody, I'm alive, like. So I think we could get possibly, I think there was Sandman.
Yeah, Sandman, Electro.
And then who do you all think that the 6th person will be?
Venom, right? That's what makes sense.
But my thing is Venom is a good guy, though. Venom's been built up to be like this anti-hero, but me and Oscar were trying to figure out, because you have to have a Spider-Man black suit moment, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Because at the end of that end credit scene, Venom looks at the screen and says, this guy, or was it that guy?
It was one of those.
So people are speculating that the symbiote hive mind goes across multiverses.
Yep.
So the reason why he might recognize Tom or just recognize Spider-Man is it might have connected to the Venom in Tobey's universe.
Right.
Yeah.
That knows those powers and everything and wants, he in the comics and everything, that symbiote is perfect for Peter. It loved being with Peter, but granted, it did like Eddie and it did like Flash Thompson, right?
Yeah.
So I think what will happen is maybe, Venom will leave Eddie to get with Peter, because maybe Eddie doesn't want to deal with any of the fighting or anything like that, right? Eddie's not one to go looking for a fight or anything, as we've seen in this last movie. So what if he leaves, Eddie, goes and picks one of the Peters? I've seen concept art of Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man, having the black symbiote suit.
And he has the perfect costume. Like, out of all,
it's perfect. So say he chooses Andrew, for it, and then he uses that, and then that pulls into, the universe is going back to where they're supposed to, and then they expand on Andrews. Sony continues with the Amazing Spider-Man 3 or something like that with Venom in that universe, because that's where it was built off of. The Venom movie and Morbius were built off of Andrew's, franchise, not Tom's, because Tom is part of the MCU, right?
Right.
So, I mean, it could lead into that to where, Andrew or one of the Spider-Man rejects Venom. Venom goes back to Eddie and then wants to fight the Spider-Mans for rejecting him.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting, because in the Morbius trailer, we see Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man painted on the wall.
Yeah.
But we also see Michael Keaton in the Morbius trailer from
So they're doing this weird spaghetti cross.
Yeah,
thing.
it's
we don't know what's
literally one of the things that is
whatever it is, it's a lot. So that's been Spider-Man's fatal flaw, and every single franchise has done is just
But it's so weird because with this multiverse thing, they could continue all three of those franchises again.
And that would be incredible because I wanted a Spider-Man 4 back in the day. I
Now,
was satisfied with the end of Spider-Man 3.
Oh yeah.
And I wanted the Amazing Spider-Man 3 because it did set up the Sinister Six. You saw all that tech in Oscorp at the end of that movie. Like you had, what was it? The vulture wings, the tentacles. Yeah,
you had a ton of it. And I think it was like 8 things listed, but you only need 6 of them for the Sinister Six.
exactly.
So who are they going to pick? I don't know, but fuck it, I'm here for it.
Yeah.
And like I said, top to bottom, everything, nothing's excluded. We accept it all, the good, the bad, and the ugly, and we fucking make it work.
Exactly.
I was thinking that maybe one of the 6 was going to be Vulture coming back, but
I don't know why, because Michael Keaton's character was fine. He, Peter saved his life.
something will probably bring him
You
back.
broke my daughter's heart at the end of the first movie, so I got
Either somebody's gonna be forced into fighting Peter, or something's gonna reignite their feud.
Ned becomes Hobgoblin.
Or the thing that Tom Holland is being he's being portrayed as a menace, as a murderer. Maybe all of the villains come back and say, yeah, like we were right about Spider-Man all along. You are a murderer.
J. Jonah Jameson was right.
And it's up to maybe Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield to try to fix things for Tom Holland while he's like, man, dude, what the heck is going on?
J. Jonah Jameson is the 6th person in the Sinister Six.
Speaking of fixing things, Venom 2, they killed Carnage. And if they're bringing in Goblin into the MCU, I want to see Red Goblin. So hopefully the multiverse fixes that. Another Carnage, because
how'd you feel about Carnage in Venom 2?
You what?
How'd you feel about Carnage in Venom 2?
Woody Harrelson did the best he could with a weak script and mediocre directing. Sorry, Andy Serkis, I love you, but it wasn't good.
I agree.
Yeah, I think they missed something very integral to the Carnage character, or rather, they decided to interpret it in a way that I think is wrong. They gave Carnage humanity, and Carnage has no humanity. He's a fucking monster.
I like the whole friend thing, like the friend angle that they were going with. He's like, I just wanted a friend. Like, I just wanted a friend, guys. Like
the main problem of it all was it was PG-13. It should have been a rated R movie. If you're gonna do Carnage, make it rated R, man. Don't hold back. Like what Sergio said, he has no humanity. So come on. Like,
but that's a big problem with comic book movies, specifically the MCU right now. Is like comics are not PG-13. Comics they're
hardcore
in the fucking paint. And then we had Eternals recently, which spoilers.
I haven't seen it, bro. Please don't.
Never mind. All I'm gonna say is that Eternals introduces something that's like, oh shit, they did that. And it's like we need more like Netflix Marvel, where it's like they went heavy in the paint.
Yeah,
we need more of that.
Like the Daredevil versus Kingpin scene, where it's just nothing but bloody, like exactly.
I missed that.
And Punisher just like fucking.
I was fucking busting up if we started talking about how violent Punisher is. Oh my gosh,
dude! When I watched that, I was like, "Wow, this is a Marvel show."
That last fight with him and Billy Russo at the end of season 1,
yes,
brutal.
When the creation of Jigsaw,
yeah. Now I'm pissed about how they made Jigsaw look in season 2, but that ending
his handsome back
was what's up.
They gave him his handsome back.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, but that wasn't their fault. They were already like almost halfway through the show, and then they were told, "Hey, we're canceling." So they had to bullshit it the rest of the.
Which the only reason why they canceled was because the Disney Plus thing was coming. Like,
yeah,
which was dumb.
Yeah,
they could have just moved those shows over, like, to Disney Plus, which a lot of people thought that was what was going to happen.
Yeah, I was hoping so, but I think they're just going to reboot.
They're going to reboot it, yeah.
But with Charlie Cox coming back, I think what's his name is going to be Kingpin again, and then because the other two shows that did well was Jessica Jones
And Luke
and
Cage.
The Punisher. But now Luke Cage and Iron Fist didn't do well.
I thought Luke Cage season 2 did really well.
Season 2 did, but season 1 didn't.
Yeah, so
I really liked
and
it.
they
I didn't
might
see it.
include those actors to be those characters because apparently the creator of Iron Fist loved that actor who played Iron Fist.
That's George Lucas making episode 1 and 2. That's just wrong.
But
There was nothing wrong with episode 1 and 2, man.
I agree with you, Oscar. I agree with you.
No, man, there's some issues there.
some coarse
Maul's
skin,
still around
coarse
somewhere
skin.
being an asshole.
I
There's-
love the sand.
Rapey vibe.
There was nothing wrong with episode 1 and 2.
Episode 1 gave us Darth Maul and Qui-Gon Jinn, played by Liam Neeson.
True, but also now this is pod racing.
Yeah.
Nah, this is pod racing.
The prequels gave us the best memes ever, and there's nothing wrong with them.
But
I can't argue that. All right.
it's just like,
And Mace Windu, we got to see Mace Windu.
yeah,
I mean,
Samuel L. Jackson, you know,
The
being
prequels really just opened up the fucking lore and the building of the universe of Star Wars. I mean,
yeah.
like, God bless the prequels for that.
Everyone
Yeah.
say thank you, George Lucas.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you, George Lucas. Yeah.
man, you know, we just came back
Yeah,
literally
we just get
full
But
circle.
no, but what were we talking about?
If anything, the actors from Jessica Jones, Punisher, and Daredevil will all probably come back. I don't know about Luke Cage or Iron Fist because those are the only two shows that did not do as well as the other three.
The actor who played Luke Cage was really good.
Yeah.
He
No,
did
Oh,
a
I
good
loved
job.
him.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
He was good, dude. He's just a big dude, you know, and he was as likable and as nice and everything like that.
I have a theory for Iron Fist. Did y'all watch Shang-Chi?
I did,
I'm
yeah.
actually going to this weekend.
It's amazing. It's really
It's
fucking
really
good.
fucking good.
Like,
Yeah, it
for
is.
me personally, it bumped itself up to top 5 MCU films. That's how
Oh
much,
wow.
Oh.
that's how much I love it.
It's really good.
But I
Watch
think
it when it comes free.
they're gonna introduce Iron Fist in the sequel.
Which would
And-
make sense.
Yeah, and do a Shang-Chi versus Iron Fist movie. And that would
Yeah, every little village has their own dragon. Every
Yes.
village has their own dragon.
What'd you say?
Every village has their own dragon.
Exactly. And then you have more dragon fights, and I'm there for it. I love dragons.
I wonder how they're going to introduce Luke Cage though into this whole thing, if they even do, because I mean, if they do another Jessica Jones thing, they could just kind of do what they did in the Netflix one and just kind of segue in or it could be a continuation from the Netflix series if they want to do it that way.
I think it depends on who becomes the next team of Avengers.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's
West-
kind of sad right now because, like, well, and me and Oscar talked about this. The Avengers that we have now are kind of like B team, you know,
Mhm.
like
Yeah.
because I mean, yeah, you can replace like Cap and all this other stuff. Like with Falcon, Falcon was a badass character. You built him up and everything, and then when you go into the whole Falcon and the Winter Soldier, where he takes over as Cap, which he does in the comic books, but how he looked at it as like a demotion, and everybody was just like, "Oh, this is garbage, dude!" Like, you know,
I like his explanation for it in the show. Like if you haven't seen the show, it seems like he sees it as a demotion. But if you watch the show, it's his own insecurities and stuff as a black, how he's treated in the country, and is he able to become Captain America?
Yeah, I mean, the show really takes that on. That's a big thing to take on because that's not just a comic. That's real life. That's every single day, and will be in America forever because there's a continuity.
And
so
yeah.
absolutely. And so I think,
I like how it introduced Elijah Bradley
oh yeah,
because that character is so good, and then it even introduces Patriot for the Young Avengers.
Mhm.
Because
I
I'm
like-
like,
they didn't highlight him at all. He's just there in some scenes.
yeah, because I think that's what they're meaning to do. Because like with with Hartley from Iron Man 3, you know, a lot of people were like, who the hell is this random kid at Tony Stark's funeral? So you have Iron Lad, then you have the Patriot, then you know you have Scott Lang's daughter, who's been a little character and everything in the Ant-Man movies, and then they're introducing Kate Bishop in the Hawkeye series. Now
And
you
then
just
Marvel's coming.
and then in WandaVision, you introduced her kids.
Yep.
All they need to do now is maybe in Secret Invasion you'll get Hulkling,
Yeah.
and then you have the whole Young Avengers team, and then maybe that will be the next wave, because say you know this B team of Avengers now, who are the only people that we have left. We don't have Cap anymore. We don't have Iron Man, but you know we have new Captain America. I don't even know what they're going to do with Black Panther though.
We still have Thor. I mean, they're supposed to come
Well,
up with a new Thor movie.
With Thor: Love and Thunder, though, they're gonna do that unworthy arc where Jane winds up getting the powers of Thor, and then you know I'll call him you know our Thor. He doesn't have Mjolnir, but I don't know how they're gonna do that because they have Stormbreaker now. He has Stormbreaker and Mjolnir. Yeah,
Marvel has taken up a great task for itself.
Yeah. So, I mean, and they have a plan. They've always had a plan. They've always been like decades ahead of everything.
Yeah.
But I think they will do a Young Avengers, you know, going forward.
Yeah.
Because they already have the characters. They just need to, you know, bring it together. And that arc was Iron Lad coming from the future to warn the Avengers to see if they could stop Kang.
Yeah.
But he came too late, to where the Avengers had already been disbanded, which they're already disbanded right now, right? After Endgame, everybody's doing their own thing. And so
Not wrong.
it could be.
What about White Vision?
Yeah.
Where the fuck is?
Where's Caucasian?
Yeah, where is he?
Where's my Caucasian vision?
He just flew into the sun, you know?
You know, he's doing something with like a perfect credit score of 8.99. Yeah, he's enjoying his life.
No, because that was like one of the things. That's exactly what my wife asked. She's like, "Where's Vision?" Because you saw what happened to Wanda. Wanda became the Scarlet Witch, and then hurt her kids because, you know, the multiverse is now broken. So her kids are actually alive, probably in a different multiverse, and that's what she's picking up on.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Mephisto.
Yeah.
Bro,
Mephisto's out there somewhere.
Mephisto is confirmed.
We just have to
Gotta
find.
be, because with him comes Ghost Rider, and we all want to see Ghost Rider.
I want Robbie Reyes so bad.
Same.
He did such a good job.
Well, they
I
already
want
did
Nicolas Cage back.
they already did a Hellstrom. They did a Hellstrom show, and apparently the Hellstrom show was gonna try to tie in stuff with Ghost Rider, but I think they only gave us like one season.
Yeah,
that was it.
And I think it got canceled.
Yeah, they're not gonna do anything with that.
There's just so much. There's so much Marvel shit that they could do.
Oh yeah,
We just don't know.
Yeah, so it's,
I'm just glad that we're gonna get a Moon Knight TV show. Like, I'm just
One of the most underrated characters.
And She-Hulk.
Yeah, I'm excited for She-Hulk because
She got cheek.
She's gonna kick ass too. She's gonna be dope.
She can kick my ass any day.
Hey man.
So what about I saw that they were going to do an Ironheart. Does anybody know who Ironheart is in the comic books?
yeah,
She's relatively new.
she's
but
newer. Yeah.
very new.
So I was telling Oscar, I don't know how they're going to do that, because the whole reason why Riri Williams kind of got popular was because at the same time she was trying to become this Iron Man-esque character, Victor Von Doom was already infamous Iron Man. And so they were kind of like clashing against each other and everything. And I'm like, I would rather see an infamous Iron Man TV show where, you know, if, you know, Victor Von Doom.
he's what?
Who's confirmed?
Riri is confirmed for Black Panther 2.
Yeah.
So
Really?
yeah, she's gonna make her intro there, I believe, and then her show will be coming out.
Is she a Wakandan citizen then? Like, that'd be weird.
I don't think so. I think what they're gonna do is they're either Wakandans are going to go to her for help, or she seeks them out for help and discovers their technology and stuff.
Yeah, because wasn't
I
there
can build
a
shit.
Shuri scene at some college? I remember seeing that video.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're gonna do some Wakandan technology, and that's gonna tie into her becoming Ironheart.
Is Namor still the villain for Black Panther 2?
That's not confirmed, but
Yeah, that's what they're speculating because there. If y'all remember in Endgame, there was an earthquake in the ocean near Wakanda,
Right.
yeah,
and everybody was like, "That's Namor."
it has to be.
The
It has-
Submariner.
That's how
'Cause-
you bring in mutants.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many things now that they can do.
Yeah.
I just hope that X-Men isn't going to be a TV show and it'll have its own movie.
I think they can
Like that.
introduce it as a TV show since it's so many characters. You have more time to spread out,
Mhm.
and then
Yeah, or you make another Deadpool movie and just introduce them that way.
Yeah.
that works too. that was confirmed to come at some
That would be the
Quicker.
cash
It's
grab.
quicker.
Cash grab.
Yeah, but yeah, there's so many things, like especially like with Moon Knight coming out and everything. But a lot of these are just all going to be separate entities at this point. The only thing I can see is Secret Invasions tying into something, and then
I have to see Doctor Doom, man, and I need to see him soon.
yeah,
I need to see Dr.
Yeah, I
Doom
need
done right.
Well, the Marvels, right?
Huh?
The Marvels?
for Doctor Doom.
No. Just, they're going to tie in all the Marvels, right?
Yeah, the Marvels is gonna have Miss Marvel, Photon, and
Cap. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
nice. That'll be a good show then.
that one's gonna be a movie.
it's going to be a movie.
Oh, Miss Marvel's going to be a movie?
No,
No,
Miss
no.
Marvel's a show, but they're doing a Marvel's movie where it's Photon,
Miss
Carol
Marvel.
Danvers, and Miss Marvel.
Oh, that'll be
Hmm.
cool.
Be fucking
Yeah.
awesome. Hell
It's gonna
yeah.
be sick.
I liked how they introduced Photon though in WandaVision, because at first I was like, who is this person? And then all of a sudden when she got the, kind of the outfit and the powers and stuff, I was like, okay, I know who this is now.
She might be a mutant because they teased her having some weird genetic thing already, and that's why she was able to pass through the border, and then it just unlocked her powers even more.
Right.
So it's different,
Question.
but it could be an intro to mutants. What's up, sir?
This is a we're talking about all the possible directions that the Marvel universe is going to go, and that's very exciting. But this is a hot take, and this is a hard take. Something I just considered is, is there anything coming out in the near future in the Marvel universe that you really don't give a fuck about? Because Marvel has kept our attention from the very beginning by stringing the story together, right, very cohesively. And yes, we're still in the in-between period, and No Way Home's coming, and that's going to kickstart the rest. But is there any chance of you losing contact with everything?
No,
because there's so much of it.
No, and here's the thing. When Loki was first announced, the show, I didn't give a fuck. I was like, okay, they're just doing this because everyone loves Loki. But then Loki
That's exactly what you said.
then Loki came out, and it was like, holy shit, this is fucking game changing.
Mm-hmm.
So, dude, Sergio, it doesn't matter what Marvel puts out; it's gonna be awesome.
To answer your question, that's kind of how I feel right now with the Eternals. I mean, when they said that they were going to do the Eternals, I really don't know much about the Eternals, but just looking at them for a little bit, I figured, I was like, why are they doing these guys now? If they're as powerful or as omnipotent as they say they are, and they deal with the Celestials and stuff like that, I figured, I was like, shouldn't these guys have been introduced kind of like in the beginning, kind of like the Black Widow movie? When the Black Widow movie came out, it's like, wait, this movie should have been like over here, not released now. So
Right. Black Widow did not. I mean,
It sucked.
They wrote her check.
It was a good movie.
Scarlett Johansson deserved her check. She really did. So I'm happy she got the
Yeah,
Black
she
Widow movie. But as someone who loves these movies and who fucking pays attention to every nitty gritty little fucking detail, I mean, it's underwhelming, and a lot of that, and that happens with the Marvel films.
Yeah.
There are films that aren't as strong as others.
Yep.
But now I think this is a pretty good sample size to say that yeah, there's hardcore fans, there's casuals, and there's everyone in between, and in all of those groups of people, there are people who are losing interest, and that is going to trend, I think, on a big scale financially. And Marvel has to take notice of that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where's the motivation? Where's the money at? Where's the money at? You know? So
Nothing lasts.
we're at a crossroads right now.
Do
Nothing
you
lasts forever. So the MCU is gonna die at some point. But while it's here, I'm just riding the wave.
Ride every
Yeah.
single bit of it. Ride every single bit of it. Yeah, and as super fans, we have to. We have to indulge in all of it. So I'm gonna go fucking watch Eternals.
Hell yeah.
Pay money.
do y'all guys feel that as much as we love a lot of this nerd stuff, do y'all feel that maybe one day eventually it's going to be just way too much for just someone that's trying to get into it because they see all the hype, they see people really want, like, you know, Spider-Man that's coming out, and let's say someone that they know who Spider-Man is, but they never really got into comics and they never really paid much attention to the MCU movies, but they're like, okay, you know, like it's kind of like I don't want to be left behind. Do y'all guys think that everything that Marvel and Disney are doing is going to eventually just become so much where people are just going to get turned off and they say, you know what, in order for me to get into it, I have to go back like all the way to like
Iron Man 1.
Yeah, 2008, years back to Iron Man 1.
Well, now you have to go back to Spider-Man.
Yeah, Sam Raimi's
Yeah.
Spider-Man.
There's
So
kids
it's
who have never seen the first Spider-Man, dude.
yeah, there's gonna be kids at the movie theater who's gonna be like, who's this Andrew Garfield guy? Who's this
Yeah.
Tobey Maguire guy?
Why is Spider-Man old? No.
So
Yeah.
do y'all feel like eventually it's just gonna come a day like what Sergio said, where Disney's gonna be like, man, we need to figure something out because people are just losing interest?
I
I see it like Star Wars. As long as you see the original trilogy, like you said earlier, you're fine. You're good. You know Star Wars. If you like those 3 movies, you're a Star Wars fan. But if you want to know everything Star Wars, you got to do a deep fucking dive on it.
Yeah.
But
Well,
Star
you got
Wars
to be a fan.
But
Like,
Star Wars is different because Star Wars, like you said, you watch the original trilogy and you get the concept of, okay, there's the Force, and then the people who practice the Force, which are the Jedi and the Sith, and then you kind of work your way.
Might be a little harder than that.
And then you work your way down from that, because
But with the MCU,
like right now in the Mandalorian, right, you're still dealing with the Force, right? So the Mandalorian's like, are you a Jedi? He asks everyone, are you a Jedi, until they finally see Luke Skywalker. with these hero movies,
do is watch Iron Man 1 to Endgame. If you don't want to do the full life investment of MCU, just go Iron Man 1 to Endgame and end it there. That's your saga. 3 phases of films, 20-something movies. Stop there. Because if not, you're going to...
Because then after, if you want to venture past Endgame, then you're caught up. And like with all these news shows and everything like that, you know, they might not all be connected to something, because now we have a split multiversal thing going on. Because, you know, and they could be setting up separate teams, like little teams, you know, like with Moon Knight. Moon Knight might not have anything, but Moon Knight could connect to Blade somehow or something like that, with all this kind of Egyptian god kind of things, you know, and that could, you know, tee it up for the Blade movie that's coming out later on in the future. And then, you know, like,
it goes back to my theory. It's going to connect everything.
Yeah.
Top to bottom.
But it's kind of like how it is in the comics, you know. I could be reading Spider-Man, but it's not going to segue into something else. You know, it's still Spider-Man, you know, and just like these TV shows, even though they are connected to somebody, I don't know who Moon Knight will be connected to, but I mean, it can be a whole brand new thing. It's just like kind of like how the Netflix Marvel series were just, hey, these are superheroes that had dealt with the aftermath of, you know, the Avengers and everything like that, you know, because they would make little, you know, snarky comments about, you know, oh, God's fallen from the sky and, you know, stuff like that. But they were their own thing.
Yeah.
And so it could be like that.
I think that comic books can be very overwhelming for people who are not comic book people.
Correct.
Yeah.
So like if you're not a comic book person, you look at the world of comic books and you're like, fuck, where do I start? which
That's
is
why manga's better.
Yeah, it's like
Start with one, bro.
Bite your
like
tongue.
hentai. I mean,
Yeah.
manga.
But that's why the MCU and all the live action shit is, I think, is going to be alive for a really long time because Marvel's getting ready to go into what 30 something properties.
Yeah.
That's nothing compared to the thousands of comic books that you could read.
Yeah, because once you run out of ideas, there's still more characters that you can tap into, or even different comic book arcs. Like,
Yeah. So I think the live action shit is going to be around for a long time.
because
And
the
think
light,
about just how much like the way we consume media is changing.
Yeah.
Right in front of our very eyes, streaming is evolved from what it was 5 years ago. Even like it's massive. And then things like the metaverse and the direction that that's going, like all that's media, and media consumption is one of the biggest industries in the United States, and that's where we spend a lot of our money. So yeah, eventually it's going to be literally diving into those worlds and becoming those characters. Like that's probably going to happen sometime in our lifetime. That might be what our kids are experiencing, whereas we're just still holding on to going to the movies.
yeah. Well, and like kind of staying with like how everything's clean right now, they have a plan. Like, is like Sergio said, everything's probably going to be connected at one point or another in this, in the MCU kind of thing. Because it's just exactly like you said, Matt. Like when you looking from the outside in at comics, you're like, where do I start? And that's where the comic book industry has screwed up so many different times because they want to get beginning readers, but they also don't want to lose their long-term fans. And then you get stuff like that's how the Ultimate Universe was created in Marvel. Was They wanted to basically create another Earth to where they can start these stories over for these characters, but to basically, pander to, new oncoming readers where, hey, this is the Ultimate Universe at like issue number 1. And DC tried to do the same thing with the New 52, but Marvel did it correctly to where a lot of people did like the Ultimate Universe, where DC screwed up and like convoluted everything in the New 52 and then had to figure a way to retcon everything and go back to normal.
Right. Which is too bad because I actually kind of like the New 52, but that's just me.
I thought it was okay, except the Court of
Lobo.
Owls. Nope. Court of Owls. New 52 Lobo was bullshit.
No, I hated it. I'm saying that's my exception. I hate Lobo in the New 52.
Oh, okay. No, my exception, I thought most of New 52 was bullshit, except the Court of Owls. That was one of the best things to come out of comic books in recent memory. That, like, the whole retcon that they've always been there.
So I had been reading up until the New 52, and I was reading the Red Robin series, and then the Batman and Robin series of Tim Drake being Red Robin and Dick Grayson being Batman and Damian being the Robin. And then once the New 52 happened, everything just kind of they didn't know what to do with Tim anymore. Tim, for some reason, got thrown out of like the Robin history.
Yeah.
To where he was always Red Robin or something like that. And I was like, this is crap. Like Tim was one of the most popular Robins that had his own series and everything like that. And you're telling me you didn't know what to do with him.
Tim Drake is the second best Robin, and I will fight anybody on that.
Yeah.
Not
like
to mention, he
always
becomes
number
the
one.
Joker in Batman Beyond.
Yeah.
Yeah. That storyline hurts. I was like, somebody help my boy, please.
I was like, why did Tim was all married and everything, and he was all having a good time and a good job, and then all of a sudden he just got an implant from the Joker when he was a kid.
Poor guy.
Yeah, I was like, no, someone needs to help my guy. He deserves better than this.
Yeah.
And then the end when he shot Joker and then just breaks down laughing and then crying, I was like, oh my God.
Dude, even as a kid, I was just like,
that's dark.
This is kind of scary. Like, why is he laughing? Like,
what is happening right now? Did I just become a man? Like, what?
He was enduring severe trauma is what was happening.
Yeah. Like, has anybody read
Pretty much
the comics of Batman Beyond continuation?
I have a copy of Batman Beyond Hush.
So I actually have all the way up into kind of the more recent stuff, but it introduces Dick Grayson into what he had been doing and everything, and then some really screwed up crap that like Barbara was pregnant with
With
Bruce's kid.
Oh, I love that.
No, I hate it.
I love that.
I didn't like it because it was like, because that explained why Dick wasn't anywhere near and didn't want anything to do with anybody, because he was with Barbara, and while he was gone, her and Bruce were hooking up, and then Bruce got her pregnant.
Yeah.
And I was just like, what the heck is going on in this? Like, but it's super cool.
He was all
like,
alone at that age. He burned all his bridges.
Yeah. And then
Barbara sleeps with anyone that's like a father figure.
Oh, yeah.
That just robs her of her character. That is not something Barbara Gordon would do.
But dude, that's what made Killing Joke better.
You talking about the animated movie?
Ruined that shit. That beginning section was perfectly fine until she fucked Bruce. And then I was like, this is stupid. I hate it. This is not my hashtag, not my Barbara. No, this is bullshit. I hate it. I love it. And then reading the Batman Beyond comic, I was like, no, stop doing this shit.
Why does this keep happening to?
Yeah, stop it. No one likes this.
Yeah, I was just like, okay, all right, let's just continue on. And one of the coolest things to come out was Terry's little brother becomes Robin Beyond.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. I was like, wow.
It was super cool. Like, I was like, man, this is perfect.
And he's kind of a badass too.
Yeah, he like learned from watching old videos of like Damian and all the other Robins and everything like that, and learned how to, and it even shows you like they updated it to where Damian's a part of the Batman Beyond universe, and
as he should be.
Yeah. And he's like the leader of the League of Shadows.
Yeah. So, I like Damian as an importance to Batman lore.
Fucking hate him.
But I hate him as a
he's a piece of shit.
Damian Wayne.
He's an asshole.
He's an asshole. He's a dick. He's a prick. I hate him.
But it's perfect though because of how he was raised. Like,
exactly.
Yeah, it makes sense.
And then it's just more story to tell for Batman, and I think that's great. But god damn it, I hate him more than I hate Jason Todd.
I love Jason Todd. Jason Todd became
as Robin.
Yeah, I hated him as Robin, but when he like his arc from being a bad guy as the Red Hood to becoming an anti-hero, like in the New 52, that was one of the comics I read, I was like, man, this is interesting. Him and what was it, Arsenal?
Yeah.
And Starfire. Starfire didn't make any sense though. In that it was just she was there to just be tossed around between him and
Yep. They made her a prostitute.
Yeah, made her. Hey, Titans got it right then.
I can't argue that. All right, you win this round. I'll watch Titans season 3 now.
Yeah.
But I need to start watching Titans. I guess. Yeah, it's on my list. Robin looks cool.
Yeah, Nightwing.
I wish Cyborg was there, but also he's killing it on Doom Patrol. So he's fine there. Beast Boy, there's some budget issues there, and you can tell.
Yeah, they're like
his powers are some of the most badass, and he's one of my favorite characters ever.
He only turns into a tiger, so be prepared for that.
And then he just turns green.
Yeah.
Yeah, like his powers are expensive to produce.
Yeah. Hey, guess what? Every 3 episodes, you turn into a tiger. How's that sound?
Wow.
You're naked every time.
Yeah, which didn't make any sense to me. I'm just like, come on.
He's doing fine for himself on Young Justice.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you want better Beast Boy stuff, watch Teen Titans and Young Justice. That's all.
Yeah.
Bringing it back to Star Wars real quick.
to wrap it up.
No.
Yeah.
So
obviously on a Star Wars note.
Obviously the Book of Boba Fett coming out is going to be like, oh my god, hype shit. But the most important thing coming out is going to be Kenobi.
Yes.
The most
like that's going to be the most important Star Wars. Yeah.
I'm ready for it. I'm hyped. I don't care that it's another battle.
Is the trailer dropping tomorrow or soon?
I don't know.
No clue. Nothing has spilled out about it. Other than there's an Inquisitor in the show. We don't know which one, but one of them's there.
And the fact that Hayden Christensen's coming back as Darth Vader is awesome.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
James Earl Jones.
So good.
Oh yeah, as long as he's alive, he'll always do it, right? So
hopefully.
Yeah, I think in the Kenobi show, like it'll all just be in Tatooine, or because to me, I've always in my head, I've always had it where like Obi-Wan never left Tatooine to look out for Luke until of course it's like, well, now we have to go to Alderaan. So do y'all think that in the show is just going to be in Tatooine, or are we going to see Obi-Wan like, oh, I have to go here, I have to go there? I'm talking to my master, Qui-Gon Jinn, and I'm feeling the force that I have to go over here, like the baby will be safe, and we see him venturing out to other planets.
I think Oscar's right though. I think everything will take place on Tatooine because
well, at least with Obi-Wan.
Yeah, with Obi-Wan, yeah. Because I think that's how I always pictured it, was he was always there guarding Luke to make sure nobody found him.
Nothing was more important than that.
Yeah, because he knew.
We'll probably get a lot of like flashback stuff where Obi-Wan's not on Tatooine, but just in
also,
I have
Rebels. I'm not there yet in Rebels, but I hear like the Force gets kind of crazy with space and time and being.
Yeah,
it does.
Yeah, I hear that's probably going to be something big.
Yeah.
My theory is that he stayed on Tatooine for a few years. Then during this show, something comes up where he has to leave. He goes, does his mission or whatever, but something happens to Luke on Tatooine, and then he comes back and is like, nope, can't leave anymore.
Fights the Inquisitor.
Probably.
Something.
And he's just like, you know what? I'm staying here. Never leaving again.
What I'm
episode 4.
Yeah. What I'm excited most about Obi-Wan is I think we're going to get more insights on the Force, because he's going to have a lot of time to meditate. He's going to have a lot of time to talk to Qui-Gon Jinn. And we're going to learn, I think, a lot about what probably the Jedi could have done, or what the Jedi know that maybe they thought was probably sacred. Like, and we see that in the sequels, as much as we hate them, we see where, the sacred texts and, the sacred knowledge of the Jedi. I think that in the Obi-Wan show, I'm excited to see the Force really be explored a little bit more, because as much as I love Star Wars, I felt like the Force has not gotten a lot of love. I feel like a lot of the projects that we've been getting from Disney have been a lot of cowboy shooters. It's been a lot of guns.
The Clone Wars does it right. The Clone Wars has some episodes, man.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about like recent projects, like with Rogue One. You had
squadron of rogues.
No, what was his what was the character's name?
Andor.
Inuit.
Inuit, something like that. Yeah, I am the Force. The Force is with me. I mean, he was like the only mention like of the Force, and yet they mention, like the power of the Kyber crystal and all that, and the guardians of the temples. They're not Jedi, but they can feel the Force. Like, we only get a snippet, and it's like, man, that seems more interesting than here's a bunch of rogues just going up and shooting up a place, kind of like a Western. Of course, with the Mandalorian, it's like another Western. And
but that works because the Mandalorians,
Yeah, I know. But my point is that we've been getting a lot of Western type shoot 'em up projects. And I feel like the Kenobi is finally going to be we're going to go more into the religious side of the Star Wars universe. We're not going to get, smugglers and pirates and cowboys shooting at each other. We're going to get more of a religious side of Star Wars and what the Force is and what it could be. And I'm excited for that. Like, I'm excited to get a lot of nice, slow scenes with Obi-Wan, like meditating and trying to learn more stuff.
Yeah. It's going to be a very acting heavy show.
One thing that the show cannot do. Oh, yeah, because Ian McGregor is a fucking amazing actor, and all these other amazing actors be in it. But one of the things that the show should not do is we should not see a rematch of Obi-Wan and Darth
I
Vader.
don't want to see that.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, because continuity-wise, in Episode 4, Vader says, "I haven't felt this presence since," unless he's referencing
This
what
this
That's
match,
lazy.
but-
That's lazy.
And yeah, I agree with Sergio. That's going to be lazy.
because you
I-
know that's what everybody's gonna want to see is
everyone's gonna
them.
want to see it, but we
If
can't
they
get
have
it.
a if they
They're
have
gonna-
a battle on like a plane of the Force, now
Yeah.
that shit is something else.
And I think
Yeah.
I hope that's how they take it, to where they're in this plane of the Force where Anakin, he's a young Darth Vader and he's still obviously learning a lot about his power as well, where they do maybe come together in a certain plane of the Force to where it's like,
They talk.
you're alive, or it's you. And because Obi-Wan knows that Darth Vader is Anakin, he's more machine than man now. Obi-Wan left, for all he knew, he left him in Mustafar. How does he know he's
He
more
left him
machine
for
than
dead.
man in Episode 4?
Mm.
So it could, like,
It's true.
I agree
Because
with
he knows he's
Sergio.
alive. He
Yeah,
knows he's alive.
I hope it's their battles like in not a physical form, but in a spiritual, astral form.
Ooh, and Qui-Gon Jinn is there if it's in like a spiritual form where they're trying to talk him down and basically saying, there is still hope for you.
Yeah,
Yeah, it gets you.
Darth Vader is
Oh.
pure evil.
What if they do how in the comics when he meditates and he sees himself, he's like this weird, grotesque monster thing?
right.
Yeah.
If they do that in the show, I'm all in. It's perfect. There's nothing else wrong with it.
And I can dream, but what if this show sets up a Vader series or something like that?
I would love that.
That would be dope.
I want
Leaves
that for sure.
Puts a live action The Force Unleashed.
Oh man, that'd be awesome. Star Killer.
Like
Yeah.
that is the dream, that's up there, I think, in most people's hearts and minds, as seeing Luke Skywalker show up at the end of The Mandalorian. Like, he's not gonna get his own spin-off or anything like that. His story's been done. But like Darth Vader still has some fucking story to tell.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, if they are going to do a Darth Vader, it needs to be rated R. That's the thing, man. Like, you cannot do PG-13. It needs to be rated R. Like what we saw at the end of Rogue One, that's the menacing Vader that we need.
I think you can still do that PG-13, just push the limits of PG-13.
Yeah.
Just a lot of force choking off screen. You just hear the. It's like, oh, okay, we know what's going on.
The throws and everything.
Force choking people to death, just don't have like the blood pour out of their mouth or anything.
Just
Yeah.
kind of,
Or just show the feet. They stop struggling.
Yeah.
And then he just throws the body.
yeah.
Boom. There you go.
But all right.
Because even one final point, I just love Darth Vader. Final
Yeah.
point I'm gonna say it's just, even in the end of Rogue One, man, that's a calm, cool, and collected Darth Vader. Just doing his thing. To see Vader in a fucking a fit of rage,
Yeah.
That was sexy shit. I cried when I saw that.
Yeah.
I was terrified.
Yeah, no.
No, yeah, that is terrifying. I mean, you have to try to put yourself in the
Their
shoes of a lot of those rebels. It's like these guys are thought to all be dead. I mean, no one knows that this, the people have heard legends of some ancient religion, people that used to practice this ancient religion, Jedi, Sith, they're all gone, they're all dead now. And then one of them just shows up, just like the stuff of legend,
And the scariest fucking one of all.
at your face right there, And I really hope we get more of that with the Kenobi show, to where it's like the Force. No one believes in it, but we're gonna learn how powerful it is and how it's all interconnected. Like to me, Star Wars, the Force has always been like God, like that looks over everything, kind of like Yoda says. It's what it penetrates us and it binds us, and it's between you, me, the Rock. It's everywhere. I really hope we get more of that explanation in the Kenobi show. So
Yeah.
I'm excited. Any more thoughts or anything, guys?
No, I think we covered it all.
Yeah. All right, man. Awesome. Well, again,
Like, thank you guys.
yeah,
like,
thanks.
for being a
for
part
having
of
having
this.
us.
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
a
this
blast.
is dope.
Yeah, thanks for doing this. And for all the viewers and listeners, again, make sure to go out and listen to Matt Shavers and the Evil Ways. Follow Fuzzy No Fuzzy Productions. Subscribe to them on YouTube. And if you're in the Austin area, man, don't be afraid to look up, my boy Sergio. He'll hook you up with a nice vehicle. Is there anything y'all guys want to say?
Just miss you guys. Love you guys. Thank you. It was great to see you guys.
Yeah,
It's good
absolutely.
seeing y'all.
All right. Well, we'll cue that music.